Get your final puffs in. Oh. Nothing popping up.
Let's go. What's up, people? It's your man Black Cobra back once again with the Wheel Life Show. What's going on, everybody? I see you guys all in the chat. It is great to see everybody popping in. Tonight is one of those nights where we are going to have fun. Because tonight's a topic that I so wanted to get into. It's one of the things that I'm asked about a lot in different places that I go. And because I travel, I love that part of it, but I don't have a big base here where I live. So it's really not for me to answer. So I thought it was better to pull in people that know better than I, people that have experience growing and maintaining a community and being active in that community. So, of course, I reached out to Liv and Nick. So, without further ado, let's bring them in. What's up? What's going on? It's Nick, Big Boy, Fast Boy,
Hey,
and Liv for EUC. What's up, guys? How you guys doing today?
what's going on? What's going on? Thanks for having us.
Yo, I appreciate you for being here. Let me tell you, you guys have some information that people want, that people keep asking for. So we are just gonna make sure that you get a chance to give it out to those people that are in the chat right now. So now that I look on my phone, I see like several other people, and Sophia. Yo, shouts out to Sophia Harney. I'm not sure if Sophia is part of
That's
your group.
that's my girl Sophie.
Okay. Sophie was the first one in the chat. She's like, I'm number one.
Hi, Sophie.
Yo, Sophie was first. Shouts out to Sophie. Now, mind you, for those in the chat, we are live on the Black Cobra channel. We are live on Wheel Life Rally channel. We're also live on Twitch. And we're also on Facebook. So
Live everywhere.
so there's different chats that may populate in there. So you may see it in one order and they may see it in another order. So I'm going to go by the order I got on my screen here because we're going to give away some stuff later on and we shall see who wins. so
Nice. We love a good giveaway.
yeah, definitely. I just sent out the one of the shirts from last week to a guy in Canada, and man, with those different addresses, I was like, dude, I don't know how long it's gonna take to get to you.
Is this address right?
Yeah,
This
I,
can't be an address. Is this an
I
address?
I had to double, triple, quadruple check. Even when I went to the post office, I was like, hey, is this right? He's like, no, it looks good. It looks good. But you know what it is? It's Dale. And what Dale's in Australia. And I think his was the one that kept coming back to me. It came back
Oh,
twice.
like a boomerang.
Yeah, like a bad penny. I was like, I said, Dale, I don't know how to get this shirt to you, dude. I'm trying. I really am. So, but he finally got it. He finally was able to get the shirt. He wore it. He's like, I got it. So I was excited about that. But today we're going to talk about your group in Phoenix. What's the name of the group?
Yeah. So we kind of run the electric unicycles of Arizona, and we also started up Phoenix E-Riders about 4 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Well, Nick, I'm gonna show you what got me to call you. Okay. Now already you guys know I love you guys. You guys are amazing. These are, and in case anybody doesn't know, these are some of my favorite people, and we've done a lot of traveling and stuff. Love you too, Liv. We've done a lot of things together, and when I think of
Yeah.
groups and positivity, I think of these two. So, but
Well,
this is
thank
what
you.
got this is it, Nick, right here. I'm gonna show you right now that the thing that made me go, oh, I gotta call Nick. You posted this,
Uh-oh.
right? Now you may need another device or a phone or something to be able to see what I'm putting up, because I think you can only see you and me. But I'm putting up behind us. I don't know if you can see. You might be able to. But this was a post that you put on the Phoenix E-Riders channel. And maybe it's because I was hungry when I looked at it. I don't know.
This must be one of the meet and greets.
Oh yeah, here it goes. Let's roll. And people tell me how loud that is, because in my ear it's loud. So those of you in the chat, tell me how loud that is.
Oh, yeah, it's the most recent meet and greet video.
Yep. Saw him from Canada. He was our special guest.
Oh, now I can't hear you guys. I turned it down. Oh yeah. Good choice of song. There he is.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Okay, so first of all, what's up with the meat here, Nick?
Oh yeah. So when you asked us about community building, I started thinking about what it is that we actually do that can draw people in, right? And so a few years ago, we were trying to figure out how do you entice people to leave their houses and come to these kind of more casual events, right? Where it's not just you meet up, you go for a ride, and everybody heads their own way. We really kind of wanted to figure out a way to kind of break bread, get spend some more quality time with each other, and also have kind of a format that was inviting to new people that wanted to explore the idea of riding PEVs of some format. And really, there's no better way to get somebody to show up than free food. So the meet and greet, I always have to spell it out for people, because people are like, a meet and greet, like MEAT and greet. So the last few years we've been smoking meats, usually like a brisket and a big pork butt, and then a bunch of people in the community will also bring like side items. Our other guy Joe, he likes to do some cooking too. Liv does a lot of the organization and planning on that kind of stuff. But meet and greets, man, it gets people out, and uh, it was just a really good time. Yeah, you just get to spend a little bit more time talking, getting to know each other. It kind of builds that family vibe a little bit, and fills the tummy. So
And he can smoke some meat. He can smoke some really
sounds
good
bad.
meat. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But it's so good.
well, Lee says I salivate every time I see Nick's meat.
I hope that's a good thing. It is a lot of fun though. Obviously, I'm big boy, fast boy. It does take some work to keep this figure up. Smoking meats is one of the ways that I do that. So it is fun to cook for people, and watch them all enjoy it. And then of course, we always end the meals with a fun ride. We'll go ride 25, 30 miles or something, and go through the city. It seems like every time we do a meet and greet, we have like somebody in from out of town, a
Yeah.
visitor of some sort. So it's also fun not only to have someone in, like a guest in from out of town, but to take them to give them that experience, right? Like they usually aren't from America, so like we give them some American barbecue, and then we're always bragging about our paths out here. There's hundreds of miles of isolated
Yeah.
cycling paths out here, and it's really easy to cover 3 or 4 cities in a 30 or 40 mile ride. So it's always fun to do the barbecue and then take those guests around, and hit, Tempe, Mesa, Phoenix, Scottsdale. And every city kind of has its own vibes, and we try and do like a kind of a sunset thing. And so it's pretty magical. Those are always like every ride's magical, of course, but like especially when you get to spend a whole day with your community, and you go through all these different cities. Always It's always really nice. We always end up at like a big overlook where you can see the entire city, and the it's all the light shining, and yeah, it's always fun. It
Well,
inspires, I think, a lot of people to want to ride more out here. So
it definitely does. And you know, I've seen some of your videos. And we talked about it in the past. I was super jealous because I'm like, look at all those trails that go everywhere, and I'm like, ah. And then you put up this meat stuff, and I'm like, where's the plane ticket? I need a plane ticket like right now. Um,
whenever you're ready, we're ready. You could be our next guest. All
you
you gotta
know
do
it.
is come out.
I think our next one, we usually do one in fall and one in spring. So we
Yeah,
usually do one around American Thanksgiving, and it's a good time. Great weather, good food.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely after
Well.
the summer.
Yeah.
Don't want
Well.
no summer visits. Don't come out
Well,
here in the
I
summer.
I think I'm gonna be there in the hot. So I'm gonna have to do a night ride then.
We'll bring it. We'll take you out, man. We love showing off the city.
Yeah.
It is a little bit unique here. Obviously, you and I and Liv, we've been to a lot of different cities, with the Amped crew over the
Hmm.
years. And one of the things that I'm always grateful for, even after visiting other communities, is those pathways, that network of pathways that we have out here.
Hmm.
A lot of people like to ride the street, but when I think about it more, I think they like to ride the street because a lot of cities don't have the infrastructure that the
Right.
Phoenix area has. And so I'm always so grateful to come back home and to be able to hit the paths and the canals that we have, to have very minimal contact really with the streets or spending time with the cars. Like there's a time and place for all that. If you want to go and get some faster runs in, and you don't, maybe sometimes the paths are crowded or whatever,
Hmm.
you got to jump on the streets. But to have that network, especially during the week when there's not a lot of foot traffic or cyclists at
Hmm.
nighttime, those paths are empty. Can literally go like 50, 60, 70 miles without touching a single street. So
Crazy.
it's really nice because it shows you a whole different perspective of the cities that I didn't even know existed before I started writing. And I really appreciate Phoenix as my home much more than I ever did before I started writing. So that's like one of the things that I really love introducing new writers in the area to is um, how to experience their city in a totally different
Hmm.
way. It's really a hidden gem.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that you guys. I know that your area is special because of it. But I'm glad that you're able to highlight that. But real quick, shouts out to Willie Brady.
Brady!
What's up, Brady? And
That
Roger
dude's a
Roger.
beast. We love Brady. Roger,
Yeah. Oh, Chris
Mr.
Torino's
Hijani
in here
himself.
too. Yeah, Roger. Roger's leaving though. Roger said he has to go to Intro to Speed, so he's headed out. But thanks for dropping in, Roger.
Good seeing you,
Chris,
Raj.
yeah, Chris Torino, he might be doing that too. I don't know. He said we need a meet and greet out here in SoCal. Yeah, look, we need that everywhere. I got to learn how to smoke those meats. 'Cause
Every community should break bread together. The Night
yes,
Riders, they were doing that quite a bit. Spending a lot of time together. I was really inspired by that family kind of feel that the Night Riders have in
yeah,
SoCal,
yeah,
and a lot of
yeah.
communities have a little something special that they do. I think it's important to make sure to always, it's easy to get kind of lost in yourself as you start writing more and more. And, to kind of pick and choose these, smaller groups of people to ride with. But you have to do things like the meet and greets and have social settings if you want to keep the community growing and have a way to welcome newer writers. Because I always try and put myself back in my shoes back when I first started writing and how
Mm-hmm.
intimidating it
Yeah.
was to go on a group ride, to not know, what the people were going to be like. Would I be able to keep up? Am I going to make a fool out of myself? It's just a really good way to kind of open your arms up and welcome people and just show them like this is one of the best communities that you can really be a
Mm-hmm.
part of. And it's so diverse. You can always
Yeah.
find somebody with something in common.
Yep. And I like that's what I like about the whole community idea, and that's why I wanted to have you guys on because like in a small area like mine, it's hard to get people together because there's only like one or two people around. So when you
Mm.
have an area, a city that's bigger, and there's a lot of people out there, you just got to find a way to get the message out and to try and pull them in. And that's something we're going to talk about in a little bit. But
Sweet.
Marshall's here. He said nights are still hot, bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here in
He
about a
said,
month or so, we'll be
yeah.
lucky if it gets below 100 at night.
Oh my god.
It's
Oh
rough.
no. Adventures in Gold said we like riding in traffic in New Jersey and New York. Yeah, we know. Yeah, that's
Nothing wrong with it.
no.
Nothing
Hey,
wrong with it at all.
yeah, nope. What's up, Cobra? Hey, Green Master Mike, what's going on, man? So you're still in Mexico, I believe, right, brother? He's riding out there
Ooh.
in Mexico. So
Mexico is not a bad place.
yeah, I think it would be amazing to ride there. Uh, another place. There's
Yeah.
so.
What are the?
Go ahead.
I wonder what the paths and stuff are like out there. Is it all street riding in Mexico?
I wonder, Green Master Mike, talk to us. What's it like out
Yeah.
there? At least
Is
that's
there any
where
community? Is there a riding community out there? You riding solo, group rides?
he's the guy who usually jumps on with Sensei Vegan on his show, and he's
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah, he's like one of his co-hosts that he brings on a lot. And
Nice.
yeah, I didn't know who he was, never met him until I saw him on the show, and I'm like, oh, and then he jumped in here. I'm like, okay, that's what I mean. As this community is great for meeting people. I
Yeah.
love it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is one of the things that I wanted to say. First of all, well, now we have a whole list of questions we got to get through.
All right. Hit us with them.
So let's we're gonna start with you guys first, and then we'll move into the community and what you guys have done in the community and how that goes. But for
Sure.
each of you, now everybody is familiar with you guys, but they really may not know your backstory. They may not know your history. So let me know how long both of you have been riding.
Probably just a little over 4 years now. Nick started riding around his birthday in 21. He had been watching each
Chooch videos.
huge every night. So we would eat dinner in his office. He's got a big screen on the wall, and he made me watch Chooch videos for probably like 6 months straight. And so finally
More.
around or
Or
more.
more.
And so finally around his birthday, I was like, "Will you just get one already? Okay, just please, just
Say no more.
get one because I'm tired of watching these videos."
Yeah, that was the big push. I was already on the edge. I watched a lot of Chooch. I watched a lot of Marty for the
Hmm.
better part of a year, I would say. And I've always been, frugal, or I always, I'm one of those people who has to be able to justify his purchase a lot of times, right? So like you see me, I always have like, always have a decent computer. I always have a decent camera. If it's work related, it's really easy for me to justify spending the money on. But to get into like an EUC that was going to cost me, 1,500 or 2 grand, I was not sure, and then I wasn't sure if I'd be able to balance on it. Of course, like first thing is that everybody else says when they see us riding is I'd kill myself on that thing. I was thinking that
Yeah.
quite a bit. Um, But yeah, that was in April of 2021. She
Yeah.
told me to just like, I'm getting tired of these videos, just buy one already.
Took him 2 days. Took him 2 days to learn how to ride.
Yeah.
I was
uh
actually upset I didn't get more blooper footage.
yeah, well, he learned to ride on April 28th, 2021, people. I have the video.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I practiced in the kitchen a little bit with my pendulums, and then I rode along the wall in the backyard, so that nobody could make fun of me while I was trying to figure it out. And then that night at like 11 or 12, when I was comfortable that the neighborhood streets were asleep, I went on my first unassisted ride. It was pretty hairy, but I did get my hands off of the wall and went a few feet. I was very proud of myself.
Yeah, I watched your video over the last couple of days, and you know what it made me do? It made me go back and watch my own.
Ah, yeah. It's crazy the evolution, right? Like that's part of the excitement is I don't really know of any other like activities that I've learned that require like a balance skill where you feel the progress every time you get back on it, right? Like so it's like once that achievement has been unlocked, like you still have it the next day or the next week when you get back on it and you can keep pushing forward and developing your skills more and more. So that was just like a really exciting time, right? Like the first couple of months when you're learning something and you're building the muscle memory and the thing that you learned last time comes naturally and you can start to progress in this other skill that you're trying to learn. It's really fun and it's a really solid and quick payoff, I think.
hmm Yeah, it for me it was just seeing the two guys riding in the woods, and I was like, "What is that?"
Hmm.
And I'm like, "Okay," and they're like, "You want to try?" I'm like, "Yup." So he said, "Here." So I jumped on the MSX, and I was like,
Ooh,
"Whoa,
yeah.
whoa, whoa!" But I rode it up like a few feet from car to car, and
Hmm.
then they had the Z10. The other guy had the Z10 with
Oh
the fat
yeah.
tire. So
Big
that one
fat
was
tire,
easier to go
like a nine
straight
dot.
on. Yep. So I jumped on that and rode it. And I was like, okay. I went home and started click, click, click and ordered it. I had one. I had the V8, the V8 a week later.
That's one
Excuse
of
me.
her favorite wheels still today.
Yeah. Well, you had that 16X. That's one of my favorite wheels still to this day because it has a
Not my
fatter
favorite wheel.
tire. You know?
Not my favorite wheel.
Yeah, I liked it because it had the fatter tire than the V8. So learning on the V8
Wow.
was very tough. After riding the MSX and riding the Z10, then I get on the V8 and I'm like, why am I so wobbly? I was riding this thing.
The skinny little tire on those
Yep.
things, yeah.
Yep. So it took me
That
3 tries to
16X
get
bucked
it.
me off. And it bucked me off real fast. I always describe, with the Bagodes that you get a little forgiveness, right? Like you get a little flutter in the pedals or maybe a quick dip and you can back off real quick. But that 16X, it's beep beep boom. It's beep beep boom.
uh you and I share that. I got a beep beep boom on mine
That's
too.
it. That's it. Not very forgiving.
No, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I never trusted that wheel again, and I knew right away that I needed something with more range.
Yeah,
And then I ordered an EXN, and that was right during the height of COVID, and all the shipping was just taking months. I think I waited 3 months for
that was
that wheel.
painful. Painful.
It was the most painful wait of my entire life. Like all I wanted was that beast of a machine and to feel safe on a wheel
Mm.
again.
Well, the good thing about the 16X though is after you ride it and that happens, you figure quickly, like you figure it out quickly. Hey, once you get down to like 30%, you got to be it's really dangerous down there, so you have to be really
Yeah,
careful. You can't be riding it like you were riding it at 100%. And once I
yeah,
figured that out, I never had a problem again. It's just that day I
good.
was at like 30%, pushing the wheel, sitting on it, trying to pass somebody, hit a bump, beep beep beep, boom. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, it
oh,
was it was not fun. And I beat myself up over that still because I was going through a parking lot and I was at a four-way stop, and there's a car to my left, and I'm waving him on. I'm saying, "Go, go, go! I don't want you behind me," kind of thing, right? And he just one of those people that insists, like, "No, no, you first, you first." So I ended up going, and like I didn't even have pads. I thought I was still, riding pretty chill. But I think just having that pressure of oh, there's a car behind me.
Yep.
I don't want to slow him down. I must have just like leaned a little too hard. And so now when I come to those four-way stops, if there's a car, I will dismount the EUC and
Yep.
let them know, no, I'm not going ahead of you. It's just that first lesson, man.
It's
Yeah, I got
scary.
some missing skin that reminds me, and
Hmm.
no
Oh
reason to be
yeah.
impatient.
I lost a bunch of skin on both knees because I happened to
Hmm.
leave my knee guards in the car by mistake.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah. The
Ouch.
one
Ouch.
time, and I had Liat knee guards, so they were great knee guards. I just was in a rush because
Didn't have them on.
everybody was leaving. They're like, "Oh, we're ready to go. Come on!" I'm like, Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on." I'm grabbing my gear, strapping it on. I'm like, "Okay, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready." And we took off, and I'm like, right
Something's missing.
when I started sliding, I said, "Huh, my knees feel wet."
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh yeah, oh
Oh,
yeah.
that's
That
rough. I remember Wheelie Brady had something similar to him happen back at Eastgate Con a couple years ago. I think like he was in such a hurry to get on the track or something that he forgot to put his knee pads on,
Ooh,
and he had a pretty
mm,
brutal
two.
two. Was it
He
two?
crashed twice. It was the
he
second
did.
time.
Yeah, and
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, your poor
yeah.
knees, Brady. Your poor knees.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it is not the track is not the time to find out you don't have your gear on.
No, Brady said we need to have low battery races. No, we don't, bro. No, 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 we don't, bro. We
Isn't
do
that
not.
what M10
Yo,
Tour races
yo,
are?
we do not need to have that, my brother. Yo, that is the worst.
Mine better have a God mod on it.
Look, I got a God mod on my A2 just because. Like you never
Smart. That's
know.
smart.
Yep. I'm
Some
like,
people aren't believers in the God mod, but once you
I
feel
am.
it, there may not be any science to back it up, but once you feel it, you know.
So Dale Electric Unicycle says when I started wheels only did 12 miles per hour. Then the MCM2 came out
Ooh.
and that did about 20 miles per hour and that was mind blowing.
You're probably on the edge too at 20 miles an hour on that
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Oh, Green Master Mike got back to us by the way. He said, "Yep, Mexico, I have to ride solo unless I ride in San Diego. Only the big cities have EUC communities." Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. San Diego's a really good community too, so that's
Yeah.
not bad.
And
And
he
a
also
beautiful
said,
place to ride.
"I'm going to get a hold of Mario and see if I can do Intro to Speed in Ensenada, Mexico by the beach." I'm coming.
You might have all the LA and San Diego crew coming down there for that
Right,
one.
come right across. That would be dope. That would be dope. Oh, Ricardo, what's up? Ricardo Medford, what's going? Oh, that's who I just sent the shirt to. He won last show.
Did it come
Uh,
in?
yeah, not yet. I sent it like 3 days ago, so I don't think he got it
Okay.
yet. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, I gotta grab sticker guy John because he won the show before, but he never contacted me with his address. I think I have it already, but I have to get back to it. Let's see. He said I got an Intro to Speed Perth sticker on my wheel. Okay. Yeah. Dale be doing some crazy stuff. I don't know if you've seen Dale, some of his stuff. Dale be just wilding out. Um,
Oh
so,
yeah. Lots of
so
backwards
okay,
riding, right?
yeah, he's good at
Mm-hmm.
backwards riding. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many wheels do you guys own?
I think we have 10 wheels right now.
Oh my God!
So we've got.
Nick said, "We do."
I didn't think it was that many. That's like a Marty Backey number.
No, it's not 20. No, it's because it's like so you have the EX30, the ET, the Master Pro.
Mhm.
We have an RS in storage, and then I have the X-Way, the Commander Mini, And then I have a bunch of small wheels. So
Uh-huh.
we do a lot of teaching, so having the small wheels is
Yeah.
beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have the M105. My V8S is out of commission, but we had another rider donate an InMotion V5 to us.
Lean
And then
just
Lee just
donated the
donated an
A2.
A2 for
Hmm.
us to help with our teaching
EUC
and
Underground.
editing. So we
EUC
have quite a few.
That's
Underground.
right.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
so we have quite a few small wheels for teaching and the little bopping around and stuff like that. And then he's actually got more big wheels than I do. He's got
Yeah.
all the big wheels.
Yeah. I tend to stick with the EX30 the most.
Yeah.
I love that form factor. 3600 watt hours, pretty. Sometimes I wish I had a little bit more battery, and
Mm-hmm.
I need to get on the Master Pro a little bit more. But EX30 is just a great all around wheel, and
Mm-hmm.
I've got one of Vince Ramirez's famous linkages on it,
Mm.
and it's just so comfortable to ride ever since he put that thing on there for me. So yeah, EX30 for me. She loves her
I
X-Way.
love my X-Way.
Yep. Yep, it's
you know,
and it's
you
cool
know,
because she's so much smaller than me. 3600 watt hour, 3000 watt hour. We're almost volt for volt when we go riding
nice.
together now, so it's
So,
perfect.
Liv, do you have issues? Well, I can't really say I had issues. I just was too stupid to fix it. But on the X-Way,
You have issues?
I went out in the woods, and I was like, I forgot to put air in the shock. I forgot to put air in the tire. I was like, okay.
Oh
So
no.
I hate that. I hate the fact that you have to make sure it's adjusted right before you go out. Like and I know that you have to, because otherwise, if it's not tuned in right, you just don't have the experience that you want. Because I had an amazing experience on it in China, but now when I went out here at home, I was like, what's wrong with this wheel? And then I had to sit and stop and use
Dial it
air.
in.
Oh yeah, some guy was like, "Oh, here, use my pump." And of course, the pump he let me use, every time I took it off, it let the air back out.
No.
So I was like, "Dude, what's up?" So I thought it was the shock. I said, "There's something wrong with this shock." I got home, used my pump, and it worked fine. I was like, so it was a tough go, but you're a lot lighter than me, so I know it's not as hard for you.
I mean, I had a little bit of trouble on the wheel at first when it came stock. We didn't have to add any air to
The
the
shock.
shock at all. But I was having trouble mounting because it was up so high and I have short legs. So I was having to do like a little like hop, hop, hop and get up onto it, getting momentum. Otherwise, I would fall over. But Nick messed around and he softened the suspension down. And if that wheel is all the way soft, it's almost like a Leaperkin. It's
Yeah,
not quite as
yeah,
soft, which I like. I actually need to tighten my rebound a little bit because I like to bonk, and right now I can't bonk as well. But with it that soft, it when I step on it, it brings it down so that I can
hmm
actually mount it without having to hop.
Yeah.
yeah. I guess my problem is I got the X-Way and the Sherman L at the same kind of time almost, and they kind of came in back to back, and I was riding the
Mhm.
Sherman L. The Sherman L was like so it's like ridiculous, so creamy. I'm
It's a
like this.
cruiser.
Oh my
It's like the
god,
Cadillac.
it is the caddy. It's for real.
Hmm.
I think I want to put a plate on the back that says caddy for real. Like it's like I get on that wheel, and it's not just a caddy though. It's a caddy. Well, a caddy's that way too. Has power. So I'm like, I step on it. I'm like, oh, it's so powerful. And then I just cruise, and I'm like, and it's so comfy. And then I got off of that and got on the
Great
X-Way.
range too.
Yeah, and then I got in the woods on the X-Way with no air and not dialed in, and I'm like, uh.
You gotta dial these wheels in, especially with the new suspension designs that everybody's been complaining about Begode suspension since Begode started making suspension wheels.
Yep.
And I don't think it was really until the X-Way that they really started getting the geometry right.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
have rebound and compression. You've got preload, pedal height, of course, and there's a lot of there's a lot of relationship between not only your tire PSI but also the rebound compression, making sure that you have your preload set properly, deciding whether
Mhm.
you want to run in soft or hard mode.
Mhm.
So I really think that it does mean if you want to have a good experience in a fine-tuned wheel, that's meant for your weight and the riding conditions you're in. You have to take that time to dial it in. And without it, it is going to be a miserable experience, right? You're going to wonder what's wrong with the wheel. You're not going to be confident or comfortable on it. And a lot of times, like even when we set up her X-Way, it feels, 70 or 80% of the way there, but you get out and ride, you drop off a couple ledges, you hit a couple different types of terrain, hit a couple potholes, you realize maybe it's pogoing just a little bit too much, so you gotta dampen down the rebound a little bit so it doesn't come up so hard and fast unless you want to start bonking. Um,
I love
but
bonking.
yeah, so you just have to, it really does command your time in the beginning and being willing to jump off, maybe ride with a couple tools or whatever so you can make adjustments on the fly. And then you have your pads, right? Like pads alone for a lot of people, it can take a little time just to get those pads positioned just right so it's comfortable for you. So like you add all that suspension relationship stuff in there, and there's a lot that can just kind of make the ride suffer until you address all of it. I see Pat in there. Pat McGlinchey, what's up, man? I work
Yeah.
with Pat at Rev Rides. He
Ah,
is,
Rev Rides.
yeah,
Shouts out to
he's our
Rev Rides.
e-moto mogul. He
Yeah,
just moved out to Phoenix. He's one of the newest additions to our community too, actually.
gotcha. See, I guess part of my problem is having to do all that. I feel like it's so much work. The only reason I feel that way is after the Leaper Kim wheels, and that's the upsetting thing is because normally before I didn't have a problem because that's just how Begode works, and you got to dial it in, and I'm like happy to
Right.
dial it in. I'm like ready, let's do it, and then I get on the Leaper Kim, and I'm like, oh, I don't got to do nothing. I'm good to go. Let's go. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
just turn it on and go, and I'm like, but obviously there's a difference. If I want to go in the woods and I want to go off-roading and I want to perform, I want the X-Way. I want it because that thing it pulls me up hills. My big behind, I was leaning on it and I'm like, wow, it's like it yanks me up the hill.
The
I'm
torque
It's
on it is amazing. It's
crazy.
amazing. How quickly you can get up to speed is pretty. The wheel's pretty savage.
Yeah,
It
I think
is.
it works out really well for her, especially not having a lot of extra weight.
Yep.
She just doesn't have to lean in as hard to demand the torque out of it, especially if you're going like uphill, like a steep incline, and you're already at like a lower speed, right? Like that can be one of the toughest like situations or conditions to like really lean into and get a lot of torque out of, on the fly, whereas like you have all that power just kind of waiting for you to give it a command. It's
Hmm.
it's really been easy for her to control, especially getting the pads, like the front and rear pads, especially the rear, up higher so that you have more
Yeah.
leverage on it and you don't have
Yep.
to put so much weight on the braking. Just having that higher pad has been
Yeah,
really
I
helpful
added
for
a
her.
secondary. So I have Grizzlas, but the smaller version. And so I took the backs of another pair of that type of pad that I have, and I split them and put one piece up. So I have it extra long on
Yeah.
the front, and then I added one down by my ankle as well.
Yeah. Green Master
Yeah.
Mike, he said that pads, pedals, tires, and
Yeah.
shoes make a huge difference. That's true. She
Yeah.
wears her
Yeah.
motorcycle boots.
Yep.
She does have a preferred set of free motion pedals. She's still got to get on her X-Way. And then she didn't, I won't want to say hate is a strong word, but you didn't like the X-Way until you got that Shinko 241
Yes, I
on
didn't like the
there.
stock tire on it. It felt too tippy for me, and I do prefer a knobby tire. Although we do ride a lot of pass, it's dusty and dirty out here. We get sand
Mhm.
across the pass, and I like to hit a little bit of dirt here and there. So having a knobby tire is preferable to me. But it was as soon as we put that 241 on it, it just
It's a
changed.
great tire.
It changed.
Okay.
I went out to
So
I2S and it was amazing. I loved it.
what's better, the 241 or the 244? Because 244 is my favorite.
It's pretty easy for me. I think a lot of us go down that rabbit hole, right? Of like trying to figure out what's the best for street, what's the best for dirt, what's best for carving, what's the best hybrid, yada yada yada. the 241 I think has more limitations. You know, those wider lugs on it, they tend to slip a little bit more for me, especially, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
4
the
241.
244. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, the 244 has the bigger lugs, and while it's a good carvy tire, I don't think it does as well in sand, like deeper sand, rocks. I think it's good for like on the street, you know, from a carving perspective. Obviously, it's not going to be as good in the rain as a street tire, like a Michelin City Pro or something like that.
Right,
The
right, right.
241 has always been my number one tire. I've tried a few different tires,
Really?
and I always come back to the 241. I like the extra. So the CST that a lot of us are used to has that one row of knobs right up the center. And then your next set of knobs have a pretty good sized gap between that center
Mm-hmm.
um, and the next row. And what I like about the 241 is that 241's next set of lugs are really close to the center line of the tire. So once you get a little bit of wear on that tire and wear down the center lugs, it's really round and is very
Mm-hmm.
comfortable to carve. You never feel like you're just stuck on an edge, like upright or in between. A lot of people complain about like on the CSTs, especially on a newer tire, they don't want to stay straight up on that center row of lugs. They tend to kind of
Mm-hmm.
ride between two sets of lugs, and so their wheels always kind of
It's
ticked.
scary.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
scary. I
I
That
don't
happened
I
to
don't
me on
like
my
that.
X-Way.
I
I
don't like
was
that at
riding with
all.
him, and I think we were going probably about 35, and I got stuck over onto the side, and we're on the street, and there's a car behind me, and I'm like, this is it. This is how I
This is
die. This is it. I managed to get
uh,
it back up.
so my vote is 241. You know, better is always super
yeah.
subjective. But if someone asked me, the other reason I like the knobbies out here is like Liv was saying. You know, a lot of the paths that we ride are actually storm. They're like flood um, control washes, and
Yeah.
so we'll get a lot of sand and stuff that rolls over our pathways, and a lot of it happens to be like in kind of sharper turns or longer sweeping turns. And I haven't had really good luck on a street tire going from like kind of like that polished cement to
Yeah.
like a
It's
layer
not good.
of sand over it.
It's
Whereas like
scary,
with the knobbies, yeah, the knobbies will kind of slip just a little bit,
but it'll
but it
grab.
kind of pushes that sand out of the way and it ends up
Yeah.
getting down to the cement again. And I feel a lot more
Yeah.
confident on it. So I've always
Yeah.
preached knobbies, 241s all day
Yeah.
here.
I don't know. I don't know. 244, 244. No, but you know what?
241.
I'm gonna get a two.
241.
I'm gonna get a 241
241.
now just to try it.
Take a
I'm gonna
vote.
try
Take
it.
a vote in the chat.
Well, they already voted. They already voted. There was like
They all said
a bunch
A lot of
241.
of people said
241s.
241. But I want to say what's up out to Sensei Vegan. What's up, Vegan?
Sensei,
Yo, what's
what's up,
going on,
man?
man? Yeah,
Love the show.
you say 241. Look, Nick.
You just got to try it. Don't
Hey,
knock it till you try it.
I know. I love you, big fella, and I think I'm gonna go with your word for this, and I'm gonna try it out. If not, you'll hear about it. Because
I want to hear about it. I want to
yeah,
hear about it.
you know I'm
I
gonna
think
tell
it's going to
you.
be good for you on the street and the
Yeah,
trails. You know,
yeah,
it just seems to perform really well as an actual hybrid
yeah.
tire is
I've
meant
bought
to.
I've bought 244s twice for two different wheels, and I've just been in love every time. And recently, I was like, I don't think I need to do that. I like the tire that comes on the Sherman L. And I like the tire that's on my ET Max. It's a street tire, and I thought
Hmm.
I was gonna want to change it, but
That's a nice tire too.
it's that
Actually, I like the stock
city
tire.
whatever. Yeah, I was like, yo, that tire once you get flying, like I just feel so good on that tire. But I don't take it off road.
It's a sticky compound. It's
Yeah.
really nice and round because it's got that wider profile, and then
Yep.
the compound's actually pretty sticky on it. So I do like that stock tire on the ET Max.
Now Chris Torino is like, he's like, now I want to try the 241 because I have a 244 on my off-road wheel and absolutely love it. So I'm curious as well. Yeah, you and me both, Chris. We're gonna try it because I love my 244s. I always have. Every time I put one on, I'm like, ooh, I'm never changing tire. And then
You'll be
Yeah,
surprised.
we'll see.
but
I
then
want to hear after you try 241.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then I
It's a
then I
little
end up.
softer compound on the 241,
Yep.
so it tends to kind of mold and shape shift, to whatever it is you're riding over. Where I think the 244 is a little bit harder compound, which is nice for
Yeah.
carving and in the
That's
streets.
why I
But
like
like
it.
if you're, I look at the 244 and I'm like, man, this thing must be a beast off road, man. Like it's so chunky,
Hmm.
and it just didn't do that for me.
No,
It's a
I
harder
never.
compound. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I grew up like off-roading, doing a lot of rock crawling in the Jeep community. And
Uh-huh.
like one of the biggest things is like airing down, having a soft compound and airing down your tire, right? So like you could
Yep.
actually grab onto the obstacles and get up over them. And so a soft compound, especially for off-road, is always kind of like what I'm looking for. And then that also translates most of the time to having a good sticky bite on the street as
Hmm.
well. Obviously, you're not going to get like the same miles. Like you might get a little bit less range on an Obby compared to a street tire.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
pros definitely outweigh the cons for me running that Nobby.
Yeah. So Marshall said, he said, "Damn it! Now I gotta get a secondary wheel with a freaking 241 on it for travel
If they
instead of
just
my
make these things a
Pilot 2."
little easier to swap tires.
Yeah, yeah, that would be so good, because I'm not looking
Hmm.
forward to having to swap it on the X-Way. But I did, I that's the other thing when I jumped on the X-Way from the Sherman L is the tire. I was like, whoa, like all of a sudden, like when pumped the tire, finally pumped it up good, then it flopped over. I was like, ho, 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 ho. I was like, I don't like that. So I let some air back out. I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like, I'm not loving this tire, but I'll figure that out. 241, 241.
Give it a shot. Let us know.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's
let's
Shinko
talk
season,
about
Gray says.
yeah, let's get it's definitely Shinko season. Let's get back to your group here.
Yeah.
We also have your YouTube up here, the
Uh-oh.
Phoenix E Riders over here, and on the YouTube channel you got some more videos. What I love is all the videos that you're sharing. They really have like such a love and family vibe. Like like the group is, you could see that everybody's having a blast, and that really does it for me. um so what would you guys say is the best way to communicate in your group?
Like on rides or in between rides, like to just our
No,
normal
no,
means of
like to
communication, or
when you're setting up a group, if people were thinking, I want to set up a group, how do I do this? Like what steps would you think are good steps to advise people if they want to start a group in their area?
so community building, I think happens in a few different steps. And if I miss any, just chime in anytime. First, it starts with just getting out and riding and like finding your flock, right? As you get out and ride, you're bound, especially if you have a decent like riding infrastructure or like set routes to get around the city. At some point, you're going to run into more people that ride. So I think it starts there. And then Facebook. I'm not a huge fan of Facebook, but there is a purpose for it, and there's just such a huge user base that when people get on, whether it's an electric scooter, electric unicycle, electric dirt bike, or whatever, one of the first places that they go is always Facebook. I think Reddit is also becoming a really popular place, but Reddit's a little bit too big. It's not really localized enough.
Right.
So Facebook group is a really good way to get visibility out there to people that you haven't run into out on the pathways yet. And then we actually like to kind of port or move everybody over to Telegram,
Yeah.
because you can create different channels in the Telegram group. Like Dallas Steinberger, he has his Intro to Speed AZ channel in there. We have our Writing Right Now channel where we tell people, if you're riding solo, share your location so we can keep an eye on you. If your blip on the radar is still for too long, we're likely going to reach out and check and make sure you're all right. Because that's another thing too, right? Is like when you go out riding solo, if something happens to you, you hit your head and you're out, nobody will know. None of your family or friends or anybody will know where you're at. And so I think just having a place where you can share your location whenever you're doing solo rides, is a great thing. Having a place you can share your location when you're in a group ride, so that when all your friends who have FOMO and see everybody out riding together, can come and track you down. That's always a lot of fun too, is to see the group out there and like, all right, I'm gonna cut them off over here at the horses place. One of our spots that we stop at a lot of times. It's called Horses. We also put our scheduled rides
Yeah.
in there. General chat, photos, videos. It's a good way to kind of
Yeah.
split things out, categorize the type of content, and keep up with each other on a more regular basis. Whereas I know a lot of people aren't really that comfortable posting conversational stuff on Facebook as like a post, right?
Right.
And one of the ways that we get visibility is our Facebook group is a public group, so there's no private moments in there. You can't, whatever you say, your wife or your kid or your uncle or your auntie or whoever is going to see what you're up to. And I think a lot of us like to just be able to kind of move freely about the cabin sometimes without like, oh, you got time to ride, but you couldn't come to your niece's
Yep.
birthday party or
Yeah.
something like that.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Telegram's really good just to be able to keep in touch between the rides, to come up with those ideas. You mentioned like food ride, and then all of a sudden all these people come out from the woodwork, right? Like, you said food, we're
You
gonna
said
ride and
food?
get food.
We eat? We're gonna eat? We're gonna eat. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Chris
yeah,
Torino said, my son told me Facebook is for old people.
it is, right? It is. Yeah, all the old people are moving. We're trying to get our old people to Telegram.
Oh
It
my
is a little
God.
bit difficult. It's a more difficult platform, I think, for people that aren't used to like kind of like that Discord format where there's multiple channels. So like you do have to kind of take your time and show people how to navigate the Telegram app sometimes if they're, a little bit older or not technically savvy or
Hmm.
whatever. But it is way easier, right, to keep
Yeah,
in
it's
communication.
easy and something I like to tell people because they're like, oh, well, I don't want to get a bunch of notifications, and I'm like, mute all the channels. The only channels you need to keep unmuted are the scheduled rides and maybe the riding right now, because that's also a good place to hook up with other riders while you're out. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go riding in like an hour. Like, oh, like I'll come and meet you, like
Hmm.
kind of thing and stuff. So
Hmm.
it's those are really the like most important ones, and the other
Yep.
ones you can mute, so you're not getting blown up by us at like 8 o'clock in the morning when some of us are just really chatty.
Electric Unicycle says he likes to do the messenger group chats
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah. That's on the screen right now because I was just gonna read
Hmm.
that. Look, a lot of people like to do those, and it really, I think, I wanted to ask you now. Reddit, I never liked Reddit. I think Reddit has too many rules. It's too difficult to post. You have to do this. You can't do that. You have to do this. It has to be this. And it has. I hate
Right.
Reddit. For some reason, it's just never clicked for me. But I will Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. Those seem to be the ones that people gravitate towards. Right now, WhatsApp allows you to send big files, and Telegram has so many. There's so many things you can do in it that I feel like Telegram is still the winner right now as far as
Yeah.
communication between groups
Yeah,
is concerned.
constant communication.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the writing or with the
location
Telegram, it's the
sharing.
location sharing. Like, so when we're kind of moving off Facebook because a lot of our community members
They
aren't
don't have
on
Facebook
Facebook.
accounts anymore.
So, and we have, how do we share these rides, or these people are planning rides? How do we share this with the community? So we end up starting a Telegram group mostly to share images and videos because, everybody has the 360s. Those files are huge.
Hmm.
You cannot
Yeah.
send those without them getting compressed. So
Right.
we started with like the Telegram as just like a place to dump all our content. And then from there, it just kind of progressed because with the location sharing, like that helps a lot with being able to keep a ride together. I know, for example, the Toronto community, they actually use, because you can have voice chats in Telegram, they use their voice chat to keep in touch with everybody during their big group rides.
Right.
So,
A lot of people wear the Cardos on their
Yeah.
helmets.
Yeah.
Some of those units, they aren't all the same, right? So you can't link all of them up. And so their workaround is to just jump into a Telegram voice call, And then you can come and go during the ride. You're not committed to like, oh, now I got to have this person in my ear the whole ride. Um, you can play
Oh.
music in the background while you're in the call. So yeah, it's pretty feature rich. And the way I kind of think of it, in terms of platforms, is kind of like a tiered cake, right? Um, at the base of it is like Reddit. That's your like international community. You can talk about general EUC topics in there, and someone's going to know something. Then you got Facebook, which is a little bit more localized. People in your city or state can find you or find the community and discover a community, I guess you could say. Then you got Telegram at the top of the cake, where all the people in that community actually interact with each other on a daily
Mhm.
basis, keep up with each other, and you have the tools that you need um, to, I don't want to say have a successful community, but to have an interactive community, one that you can share files with, you can share the location with, you can talk to, you can ask each other how your day's been going. What's your week looking like? I was thinking about going for a ride on Friday. Oh yeah, I was thinking about the same thing. And
Mhm.
it's kind of a domino effect once you get those conversations going. And that's why I like having a chat like Telegram, because it's those little side conversations that inspire the bigger rides on the weekends, or the impromptu
Mhm.
rides like, hey, got off early, I'm going to go riding tonight at 5. And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, there's 4 other people that want to do the
Yep.
same thing. It's
Love it.
this doesn't happen because there are several people that don't have Facebook
Yes.
anymore. And so we had to kind of decide, do we want to base this on Facebook, or do we want to do it on Telegram? And we've kind of found that the people who are willing to invest a little bit extra effort to install and set up Telegram are more likely to spend more time writing and interacting with us anyways. So it probably has some kind of like hidden feature in it, right? Where it like helps like uh, uh, I guess it puts them through a vetting process, right? Like this person's committed, like they
Right. Right. Yeah.
it,
If
like
you're not
it
if you're not willing
qualifies
to
them a
do
little bit.
this, yeah, if you're not willing to do this,
Yeah.
you're not our people.
Yeah. So
Okay,
hey Marty, good to see you, man.
yeah, shouts out to
Marty's
Uncle
here.
Marty,
That's right.
I call him
the
Big Papa Marty.
the godfather of electric unicycles.
One of my inspirations. He was one of the main
Yeah.
influencers I had on the screen for that year while I was thinking about getting into the UC. I always appreciate Marty
Yeah,
for,
we were
I mean, just so educational, man.
yeah. No, Marty's the OG for real. He's been doing it a long time and he got a lot of us into it for real. And it's funny because there wasn't a whole lot, but there was enough. I was like, "Ooh, who's this guy?" Okay. Okay. All right. Look, and of course, me getting into it, I was not the youngest, so I was like, okay, I'm looking at Marty. I'm like, well, Marty's got it down. I'm like, he's not the youngest either. So thank you,
If he
Marty,
can do it, I
for
can do it.
yeah, for making it clear to me that we can do this.
Very inspirational. And I also just loved the breakdown videos he would always
Yeah,
do.
he loves
Yeah.
to nerd out.
Yeah,
Oh
just
yeah.
kind of knowing how it works. And his when you get somebody who spent that much time with so many different models and generations of wheels,
Yep.
when they give a recommendation, I think a lot easier to trust,
Yeah.
right? And it was just he's always been a really trustworthy source for information, and what worked for me, what I thought would
Yeah.
work for me anyways.
Yeah, and that's what's good about him. Like you said, you know his wealth of knowledge. You know
Hmm.
where he comes from, and if you're not sure, you can go back all the videos on his channel, and you can find
A lot of
something.
opinions on the internet, and some of
Uh,
them are unfounded.
yes, this is that's true. That's true. That's true. And it's sometimes you're like I don't want to go on there and call that person out, but I don't think that's accurate. you're like you're like okay, I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna leave him alone. But so
Yeah.
in your group, guys. So did you guys start these groups or did you just join in?
So Nick pretty much started them. We had joined the Electric Unicycle AZ, and there was probably like 5 people that were really in that group and riding when we started riding. And so we're in there, but we also like hung out with the one wheelers, and we knew people
Yeah.
who rode scooters.
I rode mostly with one wheelers when I first started
Yeah.
riding and,
Mm-hmm.
and doing group rides, and then
And then
Liv came in.
and so what really started the Phoenix Sea Riders is one, I was depressed and Nick was like, "You need some friends." So I need to build you a group.
She had just moved out to Arizona from California, and so it was a big
Oh,
move, especially during COVID when you couldn't really socialize, and she was getting a little sad because she's a very social person,
Liv?
and so yeah.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, I just it was spontaneous that I ended up moving out here and staying out here. And then plus it's like we were in all these different groups that are very welcoming to other formats, but
Mhm.
if you're not in the group, you don't know about the ride. So we, like thought Phoenix E-Rider is a place for all these other groups to dump their
All
multi-format
formats.
rides in so
Yeah.
that more people
Mhm.
can join in. And then from there, I guess we just ended up doing our own group rides.
Yeah, it's always just been about giving other communities a place for them to kind of cross network, cross pollinate. Um, it was I wanted the Phoenix U Riders to be kind of like that party ride group where, like,
Mhm.
if it charges and you can ride it, bring it.
Yeah.
um, so all inclusive, like I think having individual groups for like one wheels and EUCs and bikes and scooters and all that stuff is really important. But some people just want to ride in a bigger group.
Yeah.
Um, some people don't know how to find those individual
Yep.
like format PEV specific groups, and so we're always happy to like say, hey, join us on our rides. And by the way, did you know this this community exists specifically for what you ride?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that's really what it's all about is just saying, ride what you brung, kind of thing.
Mhm.
No,
We don't care what you
yeah,
ride as long as you ride and it's electric.
yeah.
There you go. There you go. So
Then
I
we
I
convert
do
them all to EUC.
well, yeah, that always happens. That always happens. So I do want to take a moment, Nick, and give a shout out um to Meta Ray Ban. If you haven't noticed, both Nick and I are rocking our Meta Ray Ban glasses.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I like that. So how many
Sponsor
people?
us.
Yes, that's right. Meta, Ray Ban, either one, reach out. We're here. So um, how many people you think are in the Phoenix E Riders right about now?
Oh, there's always a conflated number of people who have joined and aren't active. At our peak, we were having 100 people on our rides. I think on an average ride, when we really kind of schedule it, maybe 30-ish,
Yeah,
30,
when we
40
give
people.
like 2 weeks advance notice, for example, for a ride, we'll get like 30. When we're giving a couple days to a week, maybe like 15 to 25, and then
Hmm.
like the
Mhm.
shorter notice you give, the less people
Mhm.
tend to show up. I think we have 220 people in the Telegram group.
Hmm.
But of course, you have those who join to just look for the rides that are scheduled, or people who are maybe have gone a little inactive. It is getting hot
Yeah.
here.
There's
And
the ebb and flows.
yeah, and probably
Yeah.
1.4K in actually the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, what would you say is your favorite thing events that you guys put on in the Phoenix E
The,
Riders?
the meet and greets, and then we tag along to a side by side Christmas ride now every year, and that's a lot of
Yep.
fun.
About 5,000 side by sides. For some people may not know what the side by sides are, but they're basically kind of like 4x4 sand rails, and they kind of dress them all up in Christmas lights, and um, yeah, that one's a ton of fun. There's usually about 5,000 plus side by
It's a
sides out
big
there for
parade.
that
It's a
ride.
big
It's a big
parade.
parade.
What?
Yeah,
Hmm.
Holy
yeah.
crap!
It's a lot of fun to join in with them. So
Yeah, we're
yeah.
like their little elves, basically, is what they call
But
us.
we get the good footage because we can move about the line. We're
Yeah,
not stuck in one
Right.
yeah.
place.
And then we've
Yep.
had a couple food tours.
Yep.
Um,
The
we've
Night
been pretty
Riders.
busy the last like year and a half, 2 years. So we've fallen away from a lot of kind of the things that we were doing the first 2 years. But now that we've got a little bit more time on our hands, we have been spending more time with the community again, writing, trying to get the events going. So there's a few things that we did in days past that I think we want to get back to. The food tours are one of the ambitions, because that's always a ton of fun, right? Like
What do you mean a
because we
food
have those
tour?
pathways in the canals. We can go to 3 or 4 cities. We can hit 4 or 5 restaurants, and
Oh,
it's just, it's a lot of
okay.
fun. The hard part is finding restaurants that will let
Oh,
30
Lo-
or 40 of us descend on them all at once. But we have a couple spots that put up with us and welcome us. So yeah, the food rides, the meet and greets, the side by side
Christmas ride.
Christmas cruise is a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, those are the kind of things that I love to do. Like we have I'm in Massachusetts, but Connecticut is next door, so we have a Connecticut and Mass group, and a lot of times we'll get together and ride, and we ride to a reservoir. But the biggest thing we do every ride, go get something to eat. It's like every ride
It's like
ends
the best part of the
somewhere.
ride now.
Yeah,
Loves food.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it's
We
crazy
do a lot of
because
ice cream stops.
yeah. Well, okay. So that's hard for me because I'm lactose intolerant, as you remember, and I can't have ice cream. However,
I am too, Cobra, but the sorbet.
yes,
Sorbet.
I was just about to say if you find a place that has good Italian ice or sorbet, then and we just did one a ride to an ice cream place, and I don't even remember the name of it. I just did it, and it was only a few of us that went on the three of us that went on the ride, and one guy had a scooter, and then two of us had wheels, and I said, I don't care where we go, let's just go. So we
Yeah.
go, we get there, and this place has several different kinds of Italian ice. I was like, ah, score!
Talking my
So
language. I'll have 3 scoops.
Yeah.
yeah, I was like,
We're very fortunate. Where we usually meet up, there's a really good ice cream and dairy-free option, sorbet option. Like it's right there,
ah,
basically. So the end of every ride, if they're still open, that's where we are.
Yeah, we do. So our frequent stops. I see Electric Unicycle. He said beer stops. We do have one place called AZ Wilderness. They've got great burgers and these duck fat fries that are amazing, and they have a huge beer bar. We usually stop. It's one of our main like food stops in downtown Phoenix. Everybody loves riding to downtown, especially on the weekends, because like it's that's that commerce district where you have all the skyscrapers and stuff, and on the weekends there's just not a ton of traffic down there. So we'll hit that. And then my my guilty pleasure is Sonic. Um,
We do
I
Sonic
love
every stop.
I love stopping at Sonic, and if you get the app, my hack is if you get the app, it is happy hour all day long. So like all drinks are half off. So I'm just like, let's go get a Sonic. I'll buy. you know.
We don't promote a lot of like alcohol drinking with
Yeah.
our group rides. Like we may
We
stop
go and have a
maybe
beer,
have a
Mhm.
yeah,
drink with
yeah,
like
yeah.
dinner and stuff like that, but we don't. I would say our community is pretty dry when it comes to that.
Well, I think
Yeah,
that
pretty so.
it's a good thing because part of the issue, and we've discussed this, is we have to be good wheel ambassadors. That's what I call us
That's
while
right.
we're out there. And if you go out and you have 5, 6, 7 beers, and then you're on your wheel, there's no way you are still a good wheel ambassador. Now
Yeah.
you are impaired in some way, and someone's actions are going to piss you off, and then you're in a fight. Then you're in an argument. Then someone's doing something stupid, and it's like
They're
not
riding
really.
crazy, not
Or
paying
Yeah.
attention.
if somebody gets hurt, I mean
Yeah.
it's a DUI. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not worth
luckily
it.
we haven't had issues with anybody like overly drinking, and I'm also kind of impatient, right? Like I don't go out and ride to charge. If you need to charge, get a bigger battery wheel. And are we done eating? Did you finish your beer? Let's get back out on the road and ride.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I don't have
yeah.
a lot of patience for. I'm out to ride. Like I want to socialize too, but like socializing is like 10%. That's enough time to get the burger, the duck fries, a beer, and then put your gear on. We're heading
Yep,
out
let's
again.
roll.
Yeah.
Marty
So
Marty
we keep
says,
it moving.
how about pot?
It's kind of similar with that. Like we don't do a lot of stopping. Like generally we'll have like one stop in the middle of a ride, maybe two if it's a longer ride, and we're stopping for usually like 15 minutes top. So if there's a couple people that want to like, split a doobie off to the side and stuff, that's their own prerogative, but we're
Mhm.
not hanging out for a long period of time. Like we're out there just riding. We ride
Yes.
until our batteries are dead and then we go home.
Yeah,
So
we do very few stops.
as long as they're not getting in the way of the ride.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I try and like, because usually when people are following us, they don't really know how long we intend to stop for. And so if it's our main stop, I'll be like, all right, we'll be here for about 10-15 minutes. If you got something to smoke, smoke it, and we're out of here.
Hmm.
And we just keep it moving, and as soon as the smoke is gone from the air, that's the cue to get the gear back on. And kind of, we don't want to be anybody's parents. Let everybody do what they want to do, but it's also not a Cheech and Chong ride. We're
Right,
not
right.
stopping every 30 minutes to get another
Yeah,
joint down. Most people bring their little pens and stuff anyway, so they
yeah.
can they can do what they need to do quietly and keep
While
it
they're riding.
moving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
it's
if that's what you want to do, that rock with it. Long as you ain't interfering with my fun ride, that's what we
pretty
really
much.
here for.
Yeah, yeah.
Marty says it seems like smoking is very prevalent in the community. Just saying. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that smoke, Marty, and now that obviously the legality has changed, it's definitely very prevalent. So, it is
Marty,
what
if
it
you want to
is.
come out to Arizona for a group ride, we'll stop as long as you need to smoke your joint, man.
I'm pretty sure he was going the other way, but okay.
Take all the time you need for the Godfather.
So Dale says I got pulled over and blew a 0.36 blood alcohol, and they couldn't figure out what to charge me with, so they let me go.
Wow.
Oh boy,
That
you could.
0.36. I mean, you worked in law enforcement, Cobra. You
Oh
know what
yeah,
that means more than I do.
that means lock him up and throw away the key. That's what that
What is that?
means.
Twice the legal
Yeah,
limit? Is it
oh my
twice?
God. Yeah.
More
Point
than
eight.
that.
Yeah.
Point oh eight is the
Point
legal
oh eight.
limit.
Yeah. So he's way over.
Oh yeah.
Way, way over. Multiplied
You have any
by.
blood left in your system? Just tap them like a keg and start drinking.
Like Greenmaster Mike, he says you don't feel the cutouts as much when you're
No wonder he's always riding backwards. He's just lost.
Well, Green Master Mike said he's the guy. He said that's why his name is Green Master Mike. He said if you need any
Okay.
bud, but he said edibles for me. Yeah, you know what's funny? I've never like I tried it weed once when I was very, very, very young. I had a cousin who lived with us briefly, and he snuck and before he got kicked out by my mother, he had me try it, and then
But did you
and
inhale?
I did. And I had that and a beer, and I got happy and giggled myself to sleep, and I figured that is not for me, and I never did it again. I think I was
Wow.
13, and I
Wow.
never did it again. And I
I mean,
didn't
you
drink
just started drinking a little
drinking.
bit. I mean,
Yeah, just started that.
sparsely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just wasn't for me, right? So now I'm like, okay, now that I'm no longer in federal employment and I'm no longer a lieutenant in the police department because I've retired, I'm like, oh, you can eat that? Hold up. Let me
Pass me that gummy bear.
No, I haven't tried it yet because I remember at Amped one year, we had one of our guys who he smokes a lot, but he got an edible that was strong and it fucked him up. And I remember seeing him sitting. Jeremy, he was sitting there, he couldn't move. He was like, he said, "Wow, that's strong," and he couldn't move. I said, I don't know if I could take an edible. I might be in rough shape because he was a professional weed smoker, and it fucked him up. And I was like, oh boy, someone like me. I don't know.
I don't know a whole lot about these things, but I think the thing with the edibles is like once you've taken too much, it's just like a ride that you can't get off of. You know what I'm saying? Like once you're on the ride, you're on the ride until the ride is over. And so if you get a
Yep.
gummy or two, you know, ease your way into it. Don't be like, oh damn, these gummies are good. Give me more of those. Be careful. That's all I have to
Well,
say.
I appreciate the professional advice there, Nick, and I will
Some
take it
Reddit
under
book.
I I will take it under advisement, sir.
Easy on the gummies. That's the
Oh my
problem. You get
God.
like a candy bar that tastes too good. You're only supposed to eat one little square, and you're just like, but there's 30 squares here, and this shit is
Yeah. And
good.
that's what he said happened. He said it was like a piece of chocolate, and he ate the whole piece, and they were like, "No, only eat a little of it." So then he couldn't move. He was sitting on a bench, and he just sat there, and he had a weird look on his. I said, "Hey, come on, man." He's like, "Nah, man, I can't move. I'm gonna stay right here." And I said, "Wow." I was blown away. Anyway, how do we get on this topic? Anyway, thanks a lot, Marty.
Marty.
Thanks a lot, Marty.
I blame Marty.
Yeah, it's all Marty's fault. So anyway, so you said the EX30 is still your go-to, Nick, and the X-Way is your go-to, Liv.
Yes.
Is there with all the craziness that's going on, is there anything on the horizon that you're looking at? And I say mostly, yeah. I was gonna say mostly Nick because
yes, he's looking at the Panther. He wants that big battery. He wants to go on longer rides.
Sherman
not for
L.
me. I mean, I feel like it took me a couple years of just watching the wheels come through until something felt right. When I got on the X-Way at the last Amped, it was just like it just clicked. Like the weight of the wheel felt.
That's a long range wheel for you.
Yeah.
For your size.
Yeah, if I'm not trying to go so fast, like I mean, I can get like 70 miles out of that thing.
Yep. Yeah, the weight really has a pretty big bearing on the range. Obviously, Sherman L. Yeah, I'd probably take one of those. You'd pay quite a big premium for that Sherman L. And I gotta say, like when I saw you and Marty and a few other guys checking out the Panther, and hearing like the first feedback, right, and then Liam, Underground Liam, he had a pre-production unit, and I saw it lit up in a video that he had posted, and man, those lights look so good. And then I heard that it has speakers, so you could play the music, and it's got the USB charging. And we were up in Vegas for Eastgate Con, and he had it in the back of his truck. He's like, "Hey, big boy, you want to try out this Panther?" I'm like, "No."
That was actually at our house. That was actually at our house.
Yeah, it's been in front of me a couple times now, and I refuse.
And you didn't get on it?
No, I don't need that temptation right now. I don't need that temptation, man. I'm like you. I'm like you, Cobra. As soon as I see something that I want, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna find a way. And so I just didn't need that. And we rode with him in his Cybertruck out in Vegas too. And I've been avoiding the Cybertruck too, because same thing. I'm like, I'm gonna get in it and I'm gonna want one. I'm gonna want to sell my truck, and I'm gonna like, the thing was cruising down the strip in like aggressive autopilot mode. And that thing was so smooth, man. It acted like it was in New York too. It was like waiting for a gap, even though it had a green light. And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna take it." And it was good. So yeah, I'm trying not to tempt myself with these expensive, extravagant things right now. But if budget was unlimited, the Panther would probably get my money. Sherman L would probably fit the bill just as well. But I don't know that Panther and Bigod's latest suspension, like I think they're figuring it out, right? And the build quality overall seems to just be like really stepping up since like the ET Max, like those new molded plastics and stuff that they're using. And man, like the lights, like none of these big wheels have those cool LED lights going all the way around it. The thing really freaking glows.
But what do? We end up putting lights on ourselves because we want that look. So that's one of the few wheels.
Battery pack you gotta charge.
Yeah. No,
whatever.
That's the thing is the Panther and the Blitz. Both of them have the all-around lights that you're like, finally.
So pretty.
Yeah.
So pretty.
They're putting the fun back into the wheels. Like they already took the micro out of the micro mobility with these big, huge form factors. And then they took the LEDs. They took the speakers for music, so we can't jam. Like it's without the portability, it's like it's a fun machine, but it's like a tractor. Like I love listening to music. I like people knowing that I'm coming up behind them, and I don't have to scream at them every time they hear my music. And
lights. That's the one thing I'm sad about my X-Way. My X-Way is perfect, but it doesn't have rainbow lights on it.
Put them on.
That's my one thing. And
put them on.
And Mike and
Marty
I agree. I am not holding him back from getting the
No,
Panther. I would fully support him if he wanted to
no,
get the
it's not her
Panther.
fault. It's
No.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yes, I
yeah.
agree, Marty. It's got his name on it.
Yeah, he said it. Look, I enjoyed riding it, and the only reason I'm saying it is because um for me, the only difference is the fact that it's always been you got to set up the Bagode,
Yep.
whereas the Leaperkim it's just go, turn it on and go.
Right.
But this
Right.
Panther is the closest they've come to making their wheel just turn it on and go, and
Yeah.
it doesn't feel wide. It's thinner than you think, and it feels good,
Nice.
and yeah, it's like crazy. Uh,
Yeah, my thing with the Leaper Kim is like it's always a trade-off, right? So like with the Leaper Kim it's convenient because like you just choose like your spring weight
yep.
and it's gonna work for you for the most part. You lose the tunability though. Like you can tune it to a degree, but not to the same degree as like the latest Bagode suspensions where you have the hard, the soft, the preload, compression, rebound, all that stuff. So it's always a compromise. I can't sleep with myself knowing that I gave up on the ability to tune my wheel just a little bit more to make it the way that I want it, right? So I don't mind putting the time in because once I get my wheels dialed in, I don't really touch them again
Yeah,
after that. So
yeah,
it's just like a little bit of time up front. But like if I bought a Sherman L and I was like, man, the compression is just a little too soft for my fat ass. I can't, especially if I already have the heaviest spring. Like, what are you gonna do? Now you got to
yeah,
source parts or like hope that somebody has some part number to a spring that's a little bit heavier.
yeah.
But it's not like putting a little bit more air in the shock or just dialing in a little bit more preload to support my weight. That I could do on the Bagode side of things. So
I think it just comes down to the type of rider you are and that kind of thing. Like me personally, I'm not a fan of the Lieberkim suspension. I feel like it's too cloudy. I like a
What?
little bit of this. I don't like it, Cobra.
What?
I like a stiffer.
unpopular opinion.
I
That's
like a stiffer
blasphemous.
suspension. I like a stiffer suspension. I want to be able to bonk. That's why I was saying, like right now, where my X-Way is set, it's very soft. It's almost like a Leaper Kim, and I actually need to tighten my rebound because I don't like how quickly like my pedals drop out from underneath me when I like go off a curve. Like I want it to stay with me a little bit more. Like I want to be able to get some air when I hit a speed bump and
Slow
stuff
down the
like that.
compression
Yeah,
or the rebound. The rebound is
yeah. My
Yeah,
rebound.
yeah.
I feel
Hmm.
like I still haven't dialed that in because I tried to change it and I'm like, I don't feel it bounce back as much as I want it to. I want a little, but like I said, I love the Leaper Kim, the bounce that you get on it. So that cat.
Marty said, "Tell me to live
Gotta
off."
kick her.
So wait, Marty's a good one to ask. What would Marty suggest? The L or the
No,
Panther?
he said that the Panther was you're gonna love it, Nick. He said that's the wheel
Okay.
for you, and
Well, just
I
because I would love the Panther doesn't mean that he doesn't think the L would be a better wheel. He just
no
supported the Panther.
he said he was saying that because I was saying both, and he said that you're gonna love it, and
Yeah.
I agree because you like what you just said perfectly described it. You like to
Yeah.
tinker and toil it in, and you want
Yeah.
to be able to adjust. So out of the two, the one that you can make any adjustments to is going to be the Panther, even though they went with the same type of suspension. So
Hmm.
it's and that's the other thing. This is their first attempt to do the Leaper Kim style of suspension, and
Right.
although it's decent, it's still not as good as the Leaper Kim's version. I
In your
enjoy.
opinion.
Yeah, and everybody's opinion so far that I've heard, I've been listening because
Hmm.
I listened for expressly that. I'm like, okay,
Right.
you like it, but now tell me what you feel compared to. And they're like, it's
Right.
almost as good. It's almost, and I'm like, it is. It's very good, and they make it in house, so they can make adjustments and they're figuring it out. So I give them all the credit in the world. And don't get me wrong, especially looking at them lights, I want one. And I'm like,
I
okay,
know.
how am I gonna justify that? I have a Sherman L, I have an ET Max, and I have an X-Way, and I'm like, well, I don't, don't need anything else.
I feel like Bagode, I'm really enjoying the last year of what Bagode's been putting out. I think they're finally, it's like they'll make a change, right? They get feedback from the community and they implement a certain change, whether it's a suspension improvement or more power or more range or whatever. But they always like it's almost like AI, right? Like if you're working with AI, like trying to get it to tune an image, and you're like, okay, I like everything just the way it is. Just change this one thing, and it changes that one thing, and then like
Shifts everything
everything else
else.
too, like all the things that you wanted them to keep. But like this last year, Bagode's finally like packaging it all up together,
Yeah.
right? Like they got the power, they got the range, they
Yep.
got a better build quality. They're
Yeah.
bringing the fun back
Yeah.
into the wheels, or even they haven't completely abandoned the smaller wheels, the micromobility side of things that make EUC so convenient for so many people in terms of just being able to grab it by the handle, throw it in the back of the car,
Yep. Yep.
and you're off. And so it's actually a pretty. I'm more excited now about the latest offerings from Bagode than
Oh
probably
yeah.
any other time in the last few years.
Oh yeah. Honestly, they have knocked it out of the park. Like and oh, and by the way, Marty says the Panther is the better cruiser in my opinion. The power delivery is wild. 22-inch tire is awesome and it rides like a smaller wheel. Everything he just said there is absolutely crazy correct.
Sounds
Like
nice. I
yeah,
like it.
yeah, I honestly did feel like I was on something smaller when I was riding it.
Mhm.
And I said, why is this so easy to turn? Like it shouldn't be because it's so big. And then I'm like, but why is it not even that wide? It shouldn't be because it's a bigger wheel. And then I'm like,
Yeah,
well, why does it have this much torque? It shouldn't have because it's like, and I'm like, all these things are like it was just slowly chipping away at all the
it's like
thing.
some voodoo magic in there,
Yeah,
since the
yeah.
X-Way basically, because I felt the same way with the X-Way. And I don't know if it's just because of the higher stance on the pedal and getting the weight, the center of gravity up a little bit higher compared to where it's been in previous models. But that X-Way doesn't feel anything like 100
No,
pounds.
my Commander Mini,
No.
which is like 10 or 15 pounds lighter than the X-Way, feels heavier than the
Yeah.
X-Way.
Well,
Hmm.
like again, whatever special sauce Bagode is putting on wheels now, their little mixture has gotten bananas, and I will give them so much credit because the ET Max on the road with that street tire is like nuts. I felt like there's no other wheel that made me feel that fast. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
crazy. I feel like I'm hitting warp speed right now. And
Yeah.
then I went to China and got on the X-Way and I'm on these hills and shit that I was like, okay, this is wild. How am I going up this hill? And and I looked up the hill and I said,
It's effortless.
I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna make it up that hill. And I just leaned on it and it said, yanked me right up the hill. And I said, okay, what kind of special sauce did they put on this freaking X-Way? And I'm like, and then I get on the Panther and I'm like, wait, hold on a second. It's bouncy. It's got cushy suspension. It's easy to turn. It's powerful. I said, oh boy, what is Bigot doing to me over here? So it's
You
crazy
got that
right
wheel
now.
from Marty in China and you rode off. I was like, they're never gonna see that wheel again. Like that's his wheel for the rest of them.
I wanted to, but Marty had dibs. Marty had dibs, and let me tell you, they love Marty so much over there. Marty can't do no wrong. I was like, so even if I asked him, hey, can I take the Panther? No, that's Marty's wheel.
Yeah, they're talking a little bit about the Master Pro in the chat right now, and that's I do have a Master Pro, and I've bent one rim already. I just whenever I ride the Master Pro, I always feel like it's so fragile, right? Like that's an era that is come and gone now. Especially with these new wheels that they're putting out, like that Master Pro, like I felt like I couldn't bonk over anything because the spokes were so far apart, and then they were made out of like that Coke can Chinesium metal rims, and you like look at them the wrong way, and they're just like collapse. Um, I've been looking for a good Master Pro replacement, something that I could jump on, go long distances, and then not also feel like if I set this thing over or lose my balance and I drop the wheel, it's the battery packs are gonna fall off of it, and then I got to get an Uber home or something. That's the vibe I get. I want to love the Master Pro so much, but I actually loved the what was it? The Monster Pro even more.
Yes,
That Monster
the
Pro is a timeless
Monster Pro.
machine.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
That
was
big
the.
tire.
Yep,
Mm,
that is the
yeah.
wheel. Like I don't care what no one says. That wheel right there will always have a place in my heart.
That's a special machine.
it,
I jumped back on one of those last year I was visiting Portland, and Douglas Marshall let me borrow his, and I was just like, oh man, I miss this. Like I didn't miss going over all like the crazy
the bumps.
rooted bumps and stuff
Yeah.
like that,
Yep.
but like just the way that it wants to stay up straight, and it's such a like flowy wheel, lots of great range. So I'm hoping that the Panther kind of gives me that feeling of
It
like
will.
this. I don't want to say
No.
indestructible, but
No,
yeah, it's much
it's
more
better.
confident.
It's better,
Yeah.
Nick. It's better. It's honestly better than anything you can think. Like honestly, whatever you're thinking, it's better than that. That's how it is. It's that good.
We gotta
Like it.
stop this, man.
Yeah. Hey, look, Nick. I can tell you right now, you need one. So just go ahead and get
I'm
it,
gonna have
man.
to go sell all my wheels.
Just yeah.
Especially with these tariffs, man. It's gonna cost like $8,000 for a dang
What?
Panther.
Maybe not the EX30. I
Listen,
would sell my Commander Mini to help you get a Panther.
talk to your talk to your boy Leem. Talk to your boy Leem. Go ahead
Yeah.
and make it happen. You can sell some of your wheels in the community easily, and go ahead and grab that because it's a thing. It's a thing. Right, like right now, I'm like, oh, I gotta order some lights. I don't have any lights on my Sherman L, and I'm like,
Yeah.
see, if I
Extra
had a
expense. You
Panther,
gotta add it onto that
yeah,
price tag, man.
if I had a
Gotta
Panther, I
get it
wouldn't have
out.
to worry about it.
That's right. That's right.
It is
Yeah,
what
I
it
could
is.
definitely see one in the future. So we'll see. I definitely like two things. Like one, I don't really like first batch wheels. I like it
Yeah,
when they've kind of
yeah,
worked out some of the
yep,
design issues, and then I don't like first batch premiums. So
yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
as long as they don't just ditch the idea altogether, and they're still making it in 6 months, Pagoda's been known to knock a few $100s off of the map price
Yeah.
after the wheel's been out in the wild for a little while. So we'll see. Tariffs are in play right now, and batteries, if they don't get any cheaper and tariffs are in play, it could just be a really prohibitively expensive wheel. But I do know Liam has my back, so he would love to sell me one. I really had to fend him off. He's like, it's right here. It's in the back of my truck. Just grab it. Like you can ride it right now.
He tried real hard, and Nick was just like,
Yeah,
"Not
like
about the
don't. No. Two separate times he had that thing, and I just didn't want to tempt myself. So, because same
That's
thing,
so
like I would
funny.
tempt myself into getting a first batch,
Yep,
right?
yep,
And
yep.
paying a full brand new wheel premium.
I
And
mean,
so it's like two of my rules. Like,
that's how I have been with my X-Way, but I love my X-Way, and I didn't have any problems with my Commander Mini either. And that was actually my Commander Mini was the demo wheel.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
number one.
Number one, I
That's
did not,
right.
and I did not have not had any problems with that wheel.
Yeah, it's been a good wheel.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all bad, but it can be an expensive lesson if you do get a bad egg or a batch that hasn't been, fully tested. So
Yeah,
they've been pretty good about updating wheels lately.
yeah, they've done a good job, especially if it's something that they can fix, they're gonna fix it. And especially after being over there in China, I could tell you, I love Kobe, the owner, and all the people over there. So shouts out to Be Gold. I should have did that before I even said anything. Shouts out to Be Gold.
Mr. Kim.
Yo, you guys are amazing. Wendy, Peter, like all of you. You guys are so amazing. I had such an amazing time. And I can't wait to see you guys again soon in November in Malaysia. It's going to be
Oh, I would love to
crazy.
be there. I would love to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah, that's gonna be so wild, so wild. But maybe no, stop it. I'm not getting nothing else. I want
Maybe
Nick to
you'll
get. I
sell
want
your
Nick to get
Sherman
one.
L and get a
No.
Panther.
I would.
I'm gonna make a reel You know I can do this too. I'm gonna make a reel of all the wheels that you've had and said you're never gonna sell. All right. And then I'm gonna find the most recent stuff where you had already sold the wheels that you said you were never gonna sell, and then introduce us to the best wheel you've ever had since the last one that you sold.
And that's, you said it right. The best wheel I've ever had since the last wheel that I sold. Yes, Marty. Yes, Marty. I'm going to Malaysia. I'll see you there, buddy. Yes, Wheelie
But that's how
Brady.
it is. I mean, we're in these companies are constantly evolving at such a young industry, really. It's really hard to commit to any wheel for more than just 3 or 4 years. But now with the voltages that we're at, and the better build qualities, it is making it easier to hold on to wheels for 3, 4+ years, and for someone to be completely satisfied. I mean, I honestly think it's probably like 10 or 15% of us, as when you zoom out and look at all of the riders in the world, like there's probably only 10 or 15% of us that like have to have the newest and latest all the
Yeah.
time, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not normal. We have like a little bit of a disease or
Yes.
something.
Yes. 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 I am not delusional in thinking that I'm normal.
I would never
I
insult you and call you normal
no.
anyways.
Listen. I quickly admit I got a problem. my wife goes, "Yes, you
Right.
do."
That's the first
Like,
step of a 12-step program.
there
She's
you
never get to the
go.
second step.
Yeah. Look. I just started playing pickleball 2.5 weeks ago. I have more pickleball equipment than I could ever use.
You can't just dip your toes in anything, can you?
No. She's like, really? You
So-
just started. How are you a leader in one of the pickleball groups?
So what is pickleball? Is that like giant ping pong?
Yeah.
It- it's
Except you hit
it's
it it's on
Yeah.
the ground like in a tennis court.
Yeah.
it's like a
Mhm.
it's a combination between tennis, ping pong, and racquetball, I guess. But it is closer to tennis and ping pong, like a hybrid
Okay.
child.
Mhm.
But it's
Okay.
so much fun. It is absolutely listen, it's fun when it took me away from riding for the last 2 weeks. I've been
True.
dying to ride because we had bad weather, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and then bam, yeah, tennis for old people. There you go. Yeah, there
So we're
you
gonna
go,
start
Chris.
seeing the Black Cobra pickleball channel here soon.
Yeah,
huh?
I already.
That's just what Willie Brady asked. What's your pickleball YouTube
Oh,
channel?
that's hilarious. And then I saw Marty had said, "Hold on to a wheel for 4 years. You smoking?" Actually, I was like the devil on a person's shoulder there for a while. Like I used to convince people all the time, like, "Hey man, like these things are really dangerous. They don't have smart BMS. You can't really tell the cell health on these batteries. Like the only thing you can do is sell that damn thing after a year and get a new one in to know you've got new cells that don't have any damage, right? Like it's risky to leave these unmonitored lithium ion devices in the home. Are you crazy? Cycle them out." I can't really use that excuse as much anymore.
I know, and you said,
And
and you
I
you,
beat
you said
that.
cycle them out. I'll take it off your hands.
That's right.
What'd you say, love?
I mean, I do love the RS still. Like that
Yeah.
that is still one of, like, even without the suspension, it's just such a fun, agile wheel to get on and go cruise around on, and I love that thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
So fragile.
all of the older wheels, like you say, the RS, there's always going to be love for that because that was an amazing wheel. The Monster Pro, I don't care what you say, even though it doesn't have suspension, because the tire was so big, it was my
Didn't
favorite.
matter.
Very
Yeah,
forgiving.
it was my favorite wheel until suspension came out.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Until
Same.
the Sherman kicked in, and then the Sherman S. I was like, okay, there's no wheel like the Monster Pro. I don't care. And now I'm like,
Mhm.
I remember how good it was, and even if I see an old video of me on the Monster Pro, I was like, I love that wheel.
And it was effortless to ride too. It's like another thing about the Master Pro. like when people ask me about that, like they'll ask me, "Oh, do you think I could ride the Master Pro?" It's like, yeah, but it's not a relaxing ride in my opinion. It's like the
No.
grab the bull by the horns ride. Like you're
Yes.
constantly engaged with that wheel and telling it what to do. There's, unless you're going in a straight line at a higher speed, like you're putting effort into riding, unlike the EX30 or the Sherman S or like a lot of these wheels out there that are really pleasant to ride and like you can kind of get lost in the moment. The Master Pro is not that for me, which is why I don't
Nope.
ride it as much as the EX30.
Yeah.
And
And
kind
you
of
don't
why I
get the
look forward to
range.
the Panther. Everybody says it feels lighter than what
It
it
does.
actually is, and it's a little
It
bit more
is.
nimble and
It
controllable.
is.
Yeah,
So
you never ride the ET Max, not unless like, Vince is working on your EX30.
yeah,
Yeah.
ET Max just doesn't. That's if you're going
Battery.
speeds, that's a 30-mile wheel.
Yep.
I get warmed up in 30 miles. I'm like Marty. I like long, long rides. I like 70 to 100-mile rides, and 30
Yeah.
miles gets me to the starting point, and then I got to turn around and I'm riding home on beeps with the pedals
Y-
tilting back. No,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I guess I would have to say that the Master Pro I never really loved. Um, I didn't really care for it. Yes, it has crazy range, but I felt like they didn't really do their homework or their due diligence on that wheel.
Yeah, they kind
I
of
don't.
just slapped some batteries on it
Yeah.
and sent it like it was very fragile the way that the battery boxes were mounted like to the pedals and the structure, whatever you want to call the upper it just if I felt like if I dropped it, it was just going to fall over. And then the first version, I got a batch one of those, is kind of probably how I learned my lesson. It came with those really thin, flimsy plastic battery housings. Like it was literally like a plastic filament. It wasn't even like a molded plastic. And so I always felt like if I were to drop that wheel's never been dropped. I've always treated it with such care, and was afraid that if I dropped it, it would damage one of the cells. And no smart BMS, I
Yep.
can't put it in my house.
And
So
it's
just
wobbly on this stand that it has. Here's small, for example. I have my
Yeah.
mini wheel version with me.
I really do well, not regret because I never got one, but I wanted one when it first came. Oh, Master Pro, it's the next iteration of the Monster Pro. I gotta get it, and I got on it, and I was like, I don't know. And then somebody else, what's his name there? Oh my God, Tommy, EUC Vibes.
oh yeah,
EUC
uh-huh.
EUC Vibes
He
is
beat the
like,
crap out of his. Woo.
yo, and he's the number one guy who was like, I don't, I don't like this wheel, but he was
He
still
said
riding
that
it.
after he did so much on that thing. He
Yep,
did a lot on that wheel.
yep,
I would have given up on him too.
yeah. It's crazy, and I was like, okay, that's not the wheel, but I do feel like after riding the Panther, they finally got the big wheel right.
Yeah,
Out of all their tries, they finally got it right. Well, no, they finally got the big wheel right again because
yeah, yeah.
they had it with the Monster Pro. Then I think they tried to get it with the Master Pro, and then the EX30 was getting there, but the
You're still
Panther,
missing a couple cake ingredients.
yeah, it was like.
It's like the cheese
eh.
to macaroni ratio was off a little bit.
That's a good way to put it.
Just
That's
wasn't the right
exactly.
ratio.
Yeah, I was like, it's good. Like I rode Don's and Rogers, excuse me, the same night when I was out there, and I rode both. I liked Don's setup better than I did Rogers, but I still walked away going, mm, uh,
It was all right.
no. I was like,
It was all
no,
right.
it's not for me. So
Yeah.
I never bought either wheel. I was like, nah. So, but then getting on the Panther, I was like, oh, okay. I feel like they got this one
Yeah.
right.
I try
So,
not to put too much weight on those first impressions, because I like to hear from people after they get a couple hundred, 500 miles or something on a
yep,
wheel.
yep.
But there was enough consistency between all of those first impressions in China. I was like, oh, okay. Like this, like the surprise that both you and Marty, I think there was maybe one or two other people that jumped on it.
Roger.
Surprise that you guys had over the suspension, and then also seeing like the beefier rim,
Yep.
right? That looked like a
Yep.
normal rim, not like
Yep.
like a
Cheesy.
yeah, not like a
Right.
bubblegum wrapper or
Right.
something like that.
Chinesium.
Yeah, and I think Roger started kind of hitting that little ramp like
Yep.
right
He had a jump.
away, and so there was real, I could kind of see all of your eyes open up when you felt the suspension, and then on paper, for what it's worth, the specs look good,
Yeah.
and I see the quality in the ET Max and the X-Way especially.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think we've since the ET Max, maybe the Extreme, but still, I think Extreme kind of falls in the last chapter. I think
Mm-hmm.
the ET Max is what really
It
marks
started it.
the next chapter
Yes.
for Begode. Like they have all of the ingredients to make the cake. They just got to dial in the ratios just a little bit. Serve all of their different audience members in terms of use cases, from teaching, beginner wheel, to casual cruiser, to road racer, to off-road, and then long range, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have all those classes and you really focus on each rider's needs for the use case, they've got all the ingredients. They just need to figure out the ratios.
Yep. Yeah. And I think even though now that we've had this conversation, I've made a decision even while we're talking.
Oh, when's the Panther coming in?
ET Max for sale. Anyone need an ET Max? Well, because it's the high speed wheel, but I don't really ride at 60 miles an hour. I don't really, and like if I want to ride 60 miles an hour, I want to do it for longer than 30 miles.
Yep.
So I'm thinking
That's a special use case wheel. It's for
Yeah.
people that don't ride far and they ride hard.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I love the wheel though. Like I absolutely love riding it. I prefer it over most wheels. But then I'm like,
Right.
I don't prefer that beep 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 beep.
It's
beep, beep.
over already?
Yeah.
I don't want
I
to
did.
ride.
I did 42 miles and it was starting to tilt back. I was like, oh, are you kidding me? I was not happy. So, that may be my next one. Marty says I'm working on them to make a 6,000 watt hour wheel for me.
I'm gonna need a 4,000 watt hour wheel just so I can go on rides with Nick, or he's gonna leave me behind.
A 6,000 watt hour wheel that's 160 pounds. Ooh, that's a lot of wheel. I'm gonna need a beefier ramp. I'm gonna bust it out in Aubrey or a long way. I'm gonna be doing that with 160 pounds.
Yo, that's crazy. And I believe it. I'm sure they'll make him one pretty soon.
I'm sure they'll probably have it for him by the time Malaysia races
yeah.
are ready.
And if I remember correctly, he asked for that while we were in China. So I can see him getting one.
How many watt hour was the wheel that Roger had built for that range competition?
Oh wow, I forgot. That's a good question.
Was that like 55? That wasn't 6,000 watt hour, was it?
Yeah. EUC XR said dibs on what? Well, which thing are you dibbing on? My
I think he wants that 6,000 watt hour.
That's what I'm saying.
Wheel.
The 6,000 watt hour or the ET Max?
They better call it the Godfather.
Yeah.
Yo, that would be so dope. Marty, tell him to call it the Godfather.
So
oh my God.
2 Master Pro sets of packs, right? Was it?
Yeah.
Did he make it from 2 Master Pro?
I think that's what he said.
Sets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rings a bell.
That's crazy.
Man, oh man.
Woo.
600 watt hour.
Woo.
I heard it was a lot to handle too. It had like a little shimmy.
Yeah.
Shimmy action going on, a little flex.
It's kind of hard to put that together. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to make that a thing and not, you got to just like we're saying, but it takes Bagode a few effort. I mean,
Oh yeah,
few tries
yeah.
to
It's
get
no
it
fault
right.
of Roger. No fault of
No,
Roger at all. Even Panda, he was trying to put together a pretty significant large watt hour wheel, and he was also having some flex and stuff. It's a lot of weight to control at velocity with the human
yeah,
standing on top of it.
yeah, it's incredibly hard. I do want to show you my latest creation here. Let's see if I can I open this? Let me see if I can. I don't remember where you. Oh, you got another device open. You can see what I put up, right?
We've got your stream up here. Yeah,
Okay. You
it's
see,
just a little delayed, so we might be a little late to the party here.
yeah. Look at the seat on that Sherman L. I just got that from EUC Crazy. Shouts out to EUC Crazy. They just made this seat for me and sent it in. Or I just got it in, and the seat on. I can't wait to go on a long ride
Oh,
on
look at
that.
that.
Yeah, that's a beefy seat right there, and
Oh, it's
it's
ribbed for pleasure.
oh baby, oh
Look at that.
yeah, it's nice.
Look
Yeah,
at it. I see what's going on here.
yeah. I'm in love with that
Can't
seat,
zoom in.
Yeah.
and
Is
it has
that so? What is that? Like some kind of what's the material on the top? And it's even got the
leather.
green stitching.
Yeah, hold
Oh
on. Let me
wow.
let me show you the back that you can see the back of it. Here, hold on.
Did he put the
Look
Cobra
look
on
at
it?
look at the green line on the back of the seat. It's got green and then stitching is green. I was like, "Oh man." And it's black leather. I was like, "Yo, this seat and it's like it's made perfectly for the wheel. Like it's amazing." I
I always love, since we've been to so many events together, I always love hearing you go up to these makers, right? And when you find something that you like, you go and you introduce yourself to them, and then the next thing you say is, I'm gonna have to get one of those in green, right? You got green. I'm gonna need one of those in green. Look at that. They got the racing stripe right there.
Yo,
Nice.
the
I need something like
quality.
that for my X-Way.
Yeah,
The
I
X180.
haven't seen that yet. That's next. I
Marty wants to know how much.
Yeah, drop the
Mo-
details again. Who and how
uh,
much?
yeah, I'll send it to you, Marty. It was EUC Crazy, and I think it was 230. I think.
Marty's a seat connoisseur as well.
Yeah, that's why I was
Yeah.
showing it because I thought about Marty, and somebody said long ride, and I said, "Oh, this is what I'm excited
Hmm.
about. A long ride. I can't wait to get this. I haven't even ridden it yet." I said,
I
"Oh,
like how
I
he
can
contoured that stitch
Oh,
line down
yeah,
into like the top of the EUC there. It almost looks like it's too good for our little humble
yeah."
EUCs.
Look,
Hmm.
I saw the craftsmanship on his site, and I was like, "Oh my god, like he is killing it."
Yeah,
And
really
and then he
nice.
then he has two different lengths, so he makes this shorter if you don't want your seat to come that far up.
Hmm.
And then he makes it in two different thicknesses. So there's another one that's a little thinner. And I'm like,
I
"Oh
like that long one
no."
though. I don't know
Yeah.
about you. I've had the boys
Yep.
come up off the front there a little too much and
Yep.
turn the wheel right off underneath me.
That's
They
exactly what
say that
I
you can't turn the wheel off while it's rolling, but I have a
yeah.
couple moments when I was sitting on that boy going slowly and it dropped out from beneath me. I didn't know how it happened, but it took a couple tries and I figured it out.
Oh, Marty said still too short for me, but I do like his work. Was just curious about how much it costs. Yeah, no, Marty, this one, I mean, it may not seem long enough for you, buddy, but I think you would love this seat. Because honestly, when you sit on the Sherman L, when you sit down, and I know you got those long legs, Marty, so you sit back further, but um, I think you'd really like this one.
What does he do? Sit on the edge of it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but he likes the longer seat, and I understand
Maybe
him.
he needs a little more support than the average Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me tell you, I saw this and I was like, I said, that's a lot of money. I don't want to buy that. And then I was like, every time I opened his site and kept looking, I was like, stop messing around. Just buy the damn thing. Like, I was like,
Yeah, I want one of those for my X-Way. The X-Way seat that's like my one complaint about that wheel. It's so uncomfortable to sit on. I sit on
yes,
I sit on the screen.
yeah.
Basically, that's how far forward I have to sit to make sure that I keep with my forward momentum. Um, if I sit back on the actual seat, my wheel will stop. So
Yeah, yeah. I that is my one complaint on that as well. Oh, he said not tall enough.
Yeah.
Length is fine. Oh, well, he does have like I said. Well, no, I think I got the thicker seat, so this is the thicker one. But look on his site when you. It's pretty thick, Marty. I don't know. Um,
Marty's
but
had some pretty interesting contraptions where he like really is raised. I think he had like a bicycle seat there for a little while.
well,
Like,
that's
he
to
did.
squat is low.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can
I
maintain a straighter leg, and your knees don't lock up after long periods of time. That's kind of one of the. It's weird. I thought I would like the Master Pro longer because I'd be sitting up higher and my legs would be straighter. But
Yep.
personally, this isn't for everybody. But my knees don't like the angle that I sit at on the Master Pro. But the EX30, I can ride the full battery seated, and my knees don't give me any problems. So like, getting that seated angle that your
Yep.
knees are happy with is super important, especially for those long ranges.
It's super important, and you really don't know until you ride a wheel for a while and test it
Hmm.
out. You don't know because I have that issue on the X-Way as well. Like that seat is just nowhere near enough.
What
And
seat is this? Plastic?
yeah, and just so you know, Liv, I've already been pinging EUC crazy. I'm like, dude, do you make one for the X-Way yet? Hey, do you make one for the X-Way yet? Hey, have you made one for the X-Way yet? And he's working on it. I think he just came out with it. I'm gonna check his site again, or he may not have posted it, but I think he said he. I know he said he was working on it, so I'm hoping to get
I
that
was thinking
soon.
of the ET Max, by the way, the plastic. There's no seat
Yeah,
on the ET
No.
Max. It's a
yeah.
rough one. It's
Well,
another reason why I don't ride it that much.
there's I got that kit made by not Vertic. I forgot the name of the company that made a kit that had a seat, and I put it on the ET Max right away. So I have a little bit
Yeah.
of a seat. It's super thin, but
Yeah.
it's a seat because it
Yeah.
was hard plastic. So, but
That's an upsell for the next buyer.
yeah, hey, it's
Yeah.
in the
Comes with a
kit.
seat.
The kit is protective and it has the seat. It's all ready to go. Oh, ooh, am I gonna leave the lights on it now? Because I have lights and battery packs. I don't know. Maybe I'll just take those
Man.
lights off and move
Get
them
max
over
value out of
to.
that bad boy. Just send it fully kitted, man.
I did that for every wheel, and you know how upset I am right now. You see the pads that I have on the Sherman L. I just took those off my
Mhm.
X-Way because I sold 2 wheels with those sets of pads, and I find myself in a shortage of pads. Like,
So maybe leave the pads out, but the bumpers and everything else on that
yeah,
are designed for that particular wheel
yep.
goes with it.
Sherman S. That's what I did. I sold him everything. But of course, I shouldn't talk about that because you guys know how my heart was broken when he sold it a couple days later. Anyway. Oh, I
Hey
still have a.
man, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah, I still have a.
I mean, sometimes you just figure out that a wheel isn't really what you thought it would be, or it's not a great fit for you, and just got to keep it moving until you find the bed that feels just right.
True. Vertix. That's the name of it. Thanks,
Vertex.
Ricardo. Yep. For the ET Max. That was the Vertix pad in that kit. It's nice. I just wish the seat was thicker.
Okay,
Excuse
but
me.
how about Rainbow, Mike? What about Rainbow? Can you get me Rainbow Crocodile?
He look that EUC crazy can make anything. So he can make you a rainbow seat, Liv. I'm sure. He's got some crazy stuff over there. It's just gonna cost the arm and a leg, but you know.
Oh, my rainbows. I bugged Tep out on the East Coast when he made those rainbow pads and posted them in the EUC.org group. I probably bothered him for almost 3 months and was like, "You're going to sell me those pads? Like, I need those. I
Those
need
are
them
mine.
really bad."
Those are mine.
Rainbow Tactical, yes, Grace. Rainbow Tactical.
Rainbow tactical. That's funny.
So funny.
I still have a Commander Pro that the one I crashed and had to replace the shell. I still got to sell that. So I guess if I sold that and the ET Max,
ET Max. That's a Panther, probably
then I
close
could
to
get a
it.
then I could get a
Close to it.
Panther. So
If you quit buying all those pickleball paddles, you might have a little extra cash to put towards a
I,
Panther.
look, I bought the machine today that spits balls at me so I can hit them back.
Wow.
I'm gonna reserve my comment.
Okay, we really need Cobra Pickleball YouTube now.
Look, if you look closely, you may already see a pickleball video on my channel.
Oh man, I've seen a couple shorts. I feel like
Yes,
I've
I
seen a
did the
couple
short
shorts.
because I recorded it with the glasses and I was playing pickleball. So I figured I'd do
That's funny.
a twofer, advertise the glasses and the pickleball.
I'll be
So
impressed when you start playing pickleball on like an M104 or something. Until
I
then,
okay, hold on.
uh-oh.
Now that you mentioned that, hold on.
Challenge accepted.
Let me scroll back here. Where's it at? Where's
Hold on,
it
let me
at?
roll the tape.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said it. He's like, I'm one step ahead of you.
Now it'll take a second to come up, but you'll see something on your
All right.
screen in a moment.
That's so funny. I should have known. Got a ball thrower. You could be riding around picking up the balls.
Yep. Can you see it yet?
There we go.
But you're not riding
You're
it.
not riding
I
it.
want to see you riding
Yeah.
it and playing.
I need to see you volleying
I would look.
with the
I was
pickleball.
out there
paddle.
on the wheel, and I was gonna do it, but those people that are out there playing, they just met me, and they're not used to Cobra yet. So I was
You
like,
gotta warm them up a little bit.
yeah. I was like, they're not ready for the full Cobra yet. So I was like, all right, I'll hold off with riding and playing pickleball at the same time till they know me better.
Give them one or two normal sessions and then
Yep.
hit them with the gotcha.
Yeah, they saw me riding it back and forth on the side though. They were like, "Dude, what is that?" And they're like, "What? How?" Like, and I said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna do a clinic here in the park, really in the next like month or so."
I hope you have a good insurance plan. That's all those people you were teaching.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's
They're
hilarious.
but you know what's funny is I was looking at pickleball on like YouTube and stuff, and the ones that are in the competitions. I
Mhm.
mean, they're like in their 20s and 30s, and the hand-eye coordination is off the friggin' chart. I'm like, how is he doing? How? I just shared a video just now. That's this girl. I don't even know what she was doing. I said she's from another planet. There's no way she can hit that ball like that and get back over here, back over there, back over here, back over. I was like, how? It's crazy, but it's amazing.
It's hard to keep up with the younger generation, man. I
Yeah.
mean, we've seen the same thing even in the EU races, right? Like
Yep.
just a couple, 2, 3 years ago, it was kind of a little bit older crowd. Like when I say older, like 35 and up is what you'd see a lot of on the tracks. And now you're seeing, I don't know, how old is like Maxwell Berger? He's
Oh,
young.
he's young. Oh my God,
Yeah.
he's like 19,
Yeah.
20.
There are now teenagers at these races. You're seeing like early 20s. And us older guys are not keeping up.
No.
We just don't have the endurance. We don't have the reflexes.
Nope.
It's tough to keep up with the younger generation. And that's why, a few years ago when we first started going to the races, there were such few riders on the track that they just needed more numbers, in order to have different classes. And
Yep.
so I would even get on the track, but it's actually been pretty cool to see the sport grow and some real thick competition out there. We were over at the Electrify Expo, and they had a really tight track out here in Phoenix for the Electrify Expo.
Yep.
And it was pretty cool seeing the pro class. They were all within a foot of each other in this perfect line, taking the same exact lines around the turns, and it was like watching, when you look at a snake kind of slithering, it's like really beautiful in the way that it moves, and like, the body behind it follows like the same track that
Yep.
it had previously been in. I don't know how to explain how a snake slithers apparently, but it was kind of the same thing watching the pro riders, because they're all just like so just lethally precise in their
Crazy.
lines, and
Yeah.
if they were to fall off the line, they would lose position. And it's just really been cool to see all the effort being put in between the races
Yep.
too, the
Yep.
practice, the physical training. They're eating differently even in anticipation for the races, and it's just come a long way. It's pretty cool.
It has, and to me, it's like a real competition sport, and seeing these guys, you know, do what they do is just like it's awe inspiring. So I appreciate everybody who's getting out there and racing and giving us all this wonderful entertainment and videos to watch. I love seeing it, and we have some great people too. Excuse me.
Hmm.
That's the thing that I love the most is that these are not just great racers, they're great people. Like, when we hang out and stuff, there's nobody that I'm like, that guy's an asshole, I don't want to be around him. We don't have that kind of people in our community right now, and I hope we never do. So I appreciate
Yeah.
that. And the ones I do know that are in the community are not usually around us. So so I'm going to leave it at
Thankfully.
that. Um but just do me a favor, guys. You guys in the chat, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you hit it so that other
That
people can,
like button.
yeah, smash it. Smash the like button for
Smash.
me.
Give them the
Yeah,
horns.
that's right. Hit it, hit it, hit it. That's right. That's right. But I want to say thank you to both of you for coming on the show, and I want to go back real quick to the Phoenix E Riders channel and just show that real quick that you guys, if you guys don't have any riders in your area, or if you have riders in your area and you want to reach out to them, just try and duplicate what we have discussed tonight. Part of the thing is to get out there and ride. And when you see people, you have to do what I do all the time. Anytime I see anybody, hey, that's nice. So, how long you been riding? So, and
Yeah.
strike
I
up a
chase people
conversation.
down.
Me too.
I
Yeah.
would chase people down.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
hey, friend, you're my friend.
Yeah.
We both ride this thing. We're friends now.
You have to take the
Yes.
initiative. You got to take the initiative. Real quick. One thing that I thought was important, back when we were just kind of getting started writing, and we knew that we wanted to start the community. Um, One of the things that was really kind of heavy on my heart at the time was the state of politics.
Yeah.
And I was stuck like a lot of people watching the news, going over the COVID stuff, a lot of divisiveness and things like that, and it was just consuming a lot of my time and energy. And I wanted to do something that where I could move the needle. And so meeting people in my local community, um, finding kind of that safe haven of a community where it's kind of like politically agnostic,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Mhm.
it's that detachment from the everyday life and the stress and the challenges, and just having a group of people who enjoy doing the same things, that are all just trying to wipe off the stress, and worries of their normal routines, and also like that closeness that you get with among writers that you don't get in the real everyday world. I've been going to the same grocery store for 12 or 13 years, the same Starbucks for 4 or 5 years now, or whatever. You go to the same places and you barely even know these people's names. You see
Mhm.
the same faces at all these places. You never get to know them, but you get into an EUC or PEV community, and you draw each other in,
You do.
close really, really fast, and you get to
Yep.
know each other. And I was really missing that community. Liv needed that community, that closeness that was kind of missing since I was a kid, really,
Mhm.
since like being in sports and things like that in grade
Yes.
school. It really gave me that feeling of like I'm out playing, I'm with these friends that I just want to spend more and more time with. So being able to get away from the news, the political cycles, um, being able to contribute and do something in my own community where I could move the needle, where people were improving and it was impacting and valuable to their lives is something that was really important to me. On top of Liv having her group of friends, at that time you couldn't hang out inside. They were doing all this 6 foot, no congregating kind of thing, and
Yep.
so it was the perfect way to get out, have that space, be outside. Um, and move the needle in your community. So,
Hmm.
with that, I just say if you don't have a community, don't be afraid to be the first person to put the shovel in the ground and start building it.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way. There's no designated leader until you just become that person who brings people together and reminds them, hey, let's go ride together. I was going to go ride here. Does anybody want to come with me?
Yep.
Someone wants to learn. Don't just say, oh, yeah, it's really easy to learn. It's just like riding a bike. Say, I have an extra EUC. If you have the resources, give
Yep.
them the opportunity to try it. The barrier of entry is high and scary for a lot of people that don't know, think they can do it, or think they will kill themselves if they tried. Giving people that opportunity to try it is a great way to bring more people into your community by giving them the option to try before they buy. Because we all know that once they realize they can do it, and it's a lot easier than what it seems, it's really hard to kind of kick the thought of not riding anymore. We brought a lot of people into the community that way. So just don't be afraid to take the initiative. If it doesn't exist, build it, start slow, find friends to ride with, and that itself has its own um, kind of gravity, right? When
Yeah.
people see other people, a group of people having fun, and that group of people is welcoming and inviting, it's infectious. So
Yeah.
just be the example, lead by example. Don't be afraid to start something, and yeah,
I say
have
if
fun together.
you know how they say if you build it they will come. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think about that. If you make your community that kind of openness and inviting and positive and energetic and fun, which is what we always end up doing, people want to be a part of it. So I
Right.
I love I love that fact, and I'm glad you said that all that, Nick, before we went, because we didn't touch on it tonight, but every show it comes up at one point or another that these wheels are therapy.
Yeah,
If you don't
absolutely.
believe it, get on one. These wheels are truly therapy, and I don't think people really truly understand how big a deal that is until they're really going through something and they need it. And then they get out on a
Yeah.
wheel and they go, "Oh my God, I can't believe this. This is what does it for me." And
Yeah.
I think about it every time I go out. And I may have had a shitty day, and sometimes I don't even realize how much I need it until I get out and I'm like, oh, and you get just let the air out. You're like, I
Yep.
needed this.
A lot of
So
people would never tell someone else what they're going through because they don't think they would understand. But the interesting thing about the wheel is you get into the wind in the wheel and the wind understand. They just
yes,
blow your troubles away. It allows you to detach from the things that you're worrying about the whole day.
You just worry
And
about not falling off your
yeah,
wheel.
you're focused. You're focused on the road ahead and
yeah,
taking in all that information that's in front of you.
yep.
It's a great detach. And if you're not ready to talk or don't want to talk to anybody about your problems, but you want to get away from them, wheels are a great way to do it.
It is. Oh, you know what we forgot? We forgot to give
What's
something
that?
away. Okay, we got to give
Oh,
something away. Okay, yeah, at least one shirt. So,
yeah.
okay, before we
If you're
go,
still
guys,
watching,
if you're still watching, you
your
got you
options
got.
got better.
Listen, that's right. 1 through 20. Give me a number from 1 through 20, and we're gonna hit the wheel, and the wheel is gonna tell me who wins. Give me a number from 1 through 20 in the chat right now. Give me a number from 1 through 20. I'm gonna hit the wheel. It's gonna spin and it's gonna pick a number. So 1 through 20. If you're still here, still watching,
Pick
go
a
ahead
number.
and pick
Pick
a
a
number.
number.
Chris Torino said, me, 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 me.
That's not a number.
Nope, pick a number. 1 through 20. 1 through 20. Yeah, there we go. Now
Let's
I see some numbers.
go.
I see some numbers coming
We
in.
need
There
some
you
more
go.
numbers. Give those numbers.
So we got 11, we got 17, we got 5. All right, what else we got? We got 13. Okay, okay. There we go. Once we get at least 10 numbers, then I'll go ahead and hit it. Let's see,
You can't
7,
pick all of
13.
those numbers, Chris.
I think instead of a number, I'm just gonna go with red, please. Yeah, red will be fine.
Yo, Chris at 1 through 20. You are crazy, Chris. 18. We got 17, 16. Now you're running out of numbers, Chris. You better pick one.
He did.
Pick a number.
He picked 13.
He got
Did
13
he?
for
And
Chris.
then he made
Oh,
the
he
joke.
did. He did. He said 1 through
Yep.
20 after he said that. Okay. Okay.
Desert Chronicles in there. That's our friend Lisa. She just hung out with us for the
Hey,
day.
Lisa.
Local Phoenix E-Rider. She's got
All right.
18.
Okay, so 11, 17, 5, 13, 18. Oh, we got another 17. Jeff, pick another number. Green Master Mike,
Conflict.
he already has 17, so pick another one. What do we got? Dale
You
said
got Marty with
13.
12.
Dale, somebody already has 13. You got to pick another one. Oh, wait, are you saying you picked it first? Hold on, let me back up.
I don't know. I see Chris
No,
first
no,
with the 13.
Chris got it first, buddy. So Dale, you got to pick another number. Marty says 12. Spartacus says 3.
Missed it by that much.
Missed it by that much. Okay, 3. Spartacus 8. I think we had a. Did we already have? Nope. Okay.
Is Sophie
right.
still in here? Sophie, pick a number.
Here we go. 3, 8, 12, 18. Okay. Looks like we got some good amount of numbers. All right, we're gonna give it one more second. And the winner is going to be chosen by a website, not by myself. So,
Probably been rigged.
yeah.
Pretty sure this is rigged, guys.
Yeah. All right, just so you see, Dale said no, I picked 5. Let's see, 11.
This is
Oh,
getting
you
a little
did.
confusing.
Yep, you do have 5. You do have 5. Yep. Okay. All right. Going once, going twice. Here we go. Click
Good
it.
luck, everybody. Oh, the wheel stuck. Sorry, guys. Giveaways over. Giveaways over. It won't
I don't-
turn.
We don't have all the numbers, so I don't think I saw a 4.
Oh, I think it's
Let's-
cut off on the bottom there. We don't
Nope.
have all the numbers. Yeah, we might have to spin multiple.
Nobody's got 4, so we're gonna hit it again.
Practice swing.
Ding 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 ding.
Oh, you're nicer than me. I would have been like, sorry, guys. Guess we got to give this prize away next show.
I don't think we have a 16 either.
Oh, man.
All right.
16.
We have a 16.
Do we?
One and only?
Where?
Yeah,
Where?
one and only said 16.
Where?
Yep,
Hold
we
on.
do have a 16.
Oh, yeah, one and only. Good
right.
eyes, Liv. Good eyes, Liv. Yes, one and only is the winner with 16. Yay!
Congratulations.
Let's
One and
go.
only.
Okay, so one and only, reach out to me, send me your information, and I will send you out a wonderful Wheel Life Rally shirt. Tell me.
Let's hope
what
they don't
size
live in
you want.
Australia and you can get the address right, huh?
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope that's easy. So, yeah. Now, if you live anywhere in this part of the country, or if you are flying in, I suggest you make your way to the Wheel Life Rally, the Northeast Premier PEV event. And if for those of you who are gonna make it and looking for tickets, wheelliferally.com. I'm looking forward to this year. It's going to be crazy. I just put up that video of the one wheel racing earlier today. And I just love looking back at the videos. I forgot how do you know that this last year one wheels changed my mind. Like I was like, I don't think they're anywhere. I wouldn't ride that. But these guys were going so fast through the woods. I was like, well, shit, maybe I would ride that.
Their boards are evolving too, from the one wheels to the Vesk boards and everything. And
yeah.
you know, they're getting up there in speed and range.
They were flying. So anyway, I just
Absolutely.
want
Lots
to
of fun.
thank you guys again. I appreciate you, Nick. I appreciate you, Liv.
Thanks for
You
having
guys keep sparkling and keep shining. I'm gonna keep reaching out to you because I want to make our area rider groups grow. And anybody else, before we go, let them know how they can reach you guys. Tell them how they can reach you guys.
me. Go ahead.
Probably the one of the best ways to reach us is either Telegram, Instagram, or even Facebook. I would say reach out to me.
Instagram.
Reach out to me. I will get your messages first.
Telegram's a little hard to get into without a little invite link.
Yes,
So live for the word FOREUC on Instagram. And then you can also find me on Instagram, Big Boy Fast Boy. That's BIGBOIFASTBOI.
Or
Right?
even we have an Instagram for our community too, Phoenix
Yeah.
PHX E-Riders.
Yeah.
And I will see that as well. So
Yeah.
There you
We had a
go.
great time. Thanks again for having us on here. It's great talking to you about community and kind of reminiscing over the beginning days of writing, and also hanging
Yeah.
out with everybody in the chat. Great seeing some familiar names in there, and yeah, it's been a great couple hours.
It has been a couple hours. 2
That
hours
was
and
fast.
19 minutes. Look at
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
So, hey,
miss you,
and
Cobra.
I miss you guys too. That's another reason
Yeah,
why
miss
I
you.
truly want to come down there, even though it's gonna be hot as hell when I get there.
It's okay.
Because my
It's
Come
my
okay.
out in November. Come out.
Oh,
in
he's
Yeah.
November.
he's coming out here for a family
Oh.
for a
Yeah.
family thing
volleyball,
in July. Mhm.
volleyball.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're gonna go riding for sunrise.
Yo, yo,
Right.
Liv's look,
See my
Liv's
face?
face. Liv's face. She said, "Ooh."
I have a wedding in July here local, so I feel your
She's
pain.
already dreading that.
I feel your pain. Also, yeah, we'll go on a sunrise ride, I guess.
Something.
We'll sweat it
I don't-
out for you. We'll sweat
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
We got a
riding.
wheel for you here.
I'm gonna be riding
So-
naked.
Okay, never mind. No more group ride. I think we'll find another
Yeah.
ambassador. Where are you gonna hold your retired police badge in case we get any trouble?
Around my neck. Around my neck.
Too funny.
You-
I guess we're gonna
no.
have to. We don't like doing rules a whole lot in our community, but I guess dress code is gonna be one of them.
Just while I'm there.
Yeah,
I mean,
pads required.
pad gear. Oh, you must wear all your gear and some shorts at least.
I don't have one of those seats that's ribbed for pleasure, Cobra. So you know.
That's okay. I'm bringing it with me.
Oh, that's so funny.
You guys are a mess. I
Thank
love
you.
you guys to
Thank you very
death. Have a good night,
We
guys.
love you too.
Cobra.
To everybody else, deuces. We are out.